Yes, everybody, it is finally time to record episode 51 of the RedLeafRetrocast, Wrestling Edition, titled New Beginnings, Truth. Whew! Beginning of February has been absolutely insane. Lots of stuff changing in my life. Lots of stuff happening in wrestling, especially around, of course, my birthday weekend. Every conceivable show that I watch for this podcast, in particular took place around the weekend of February 9th, so happy birthday to me, and happy wrestling to everybody else. With everything happening around that weekend, and I was gone that weekend, it's been a crazy week trying to get it all in, watched as much as I could, watched everything I wanted, particular for this episode. So without further ado, let's get this intro started with a rundown of what we're covering. We got the recommended matches outside of the promotions we usually cover for 2020 of the Wrestling War podcast. After the two matches in particular I want to focus on, we're going right into my mother and I, talking the latest 2 weeks of AEW Dynamite specifically, up until the February 12th episode, so... we got the January 29th and February 5th specifically there. Following that, no Indie Wrestling War this time around. They did not have shows, in particular the Limitless promotion in Maine and Beyond Wrestling in New England here. No shows. That will be for, I can fit in the next episode in which Limitless is doing a show, and Beyond Wrestling is actually doing a pilot episode, rebranding as Beyond Championship Wrestling. The rumor is they have maybe struck a pilot deal with Showtime or HBO. No confirmation of that, that's just the rumor going around. But I will be going to both the Limitless and Beyond shows coming up, making big weekends there. That is February 22nd, so the following weekend upon this recording, and then March 1st. So, look forward to the episode after this coming out, probably Monday, March 2nd. Go with that. If I'm ambitious enough, I'll record on the 1st for the main part of the podcast and get it out for the 2nd. But that is the goal, that first week of March there. So, I'm getting on my 2 weeks here, but it's usually about a bi-monthly thing that I'm going here. Then we got the Joshi Wrestling War, lots of Stardom to talk about, not so much Ice Ribbon, so there's a hint there. And then we got big into the Puroresu Wrestling War of Dragon Gate versus New Japan, as they both had huge shows over the weekend of February 9th. And naturally finishing out with the Retro Wrestling. So if you are a fan of that, or are just here for the Retro Wrestling, we got the All Japan Women for April 1986. We're continuing down that road. We're following along with the New Japan Retro Watch starting in 1990. We are coming off the heels of the Tokyo show, the Tokyo Dome show, in February. So we're going March, April, May. Let me see here. Just going through it really quick. March, April, May. Yes, March, April, May of 1990 New Japan Retro Watch. And then we continue from there with our WCW going through the year 1998. We're up to October 5th, 1998, heading towards Halloween Havoc. All right. Now that that's all out of the way, I can play a simplistic drop, unlike the AEW Dynamite intro song here. We can get into the recommended matches, in which I will play Hikaru Shida's music. Here we go. Thank you, Hikaru Shida, future AEW champion, for sure. And the reason why I play her music is we are revisiting Gatoh Move. They recently, in 2020, launched their own streaming service, which you can totally subscribe to. So if you're interested in that. Otherwise, you can still see a lot of their matches over on their YouTube channel, which I'm personally subscribed to. And, of course, the weekend of February 9th, on February 9th, Kagetsu versus Mei Suruga came out, and I had to watch this match. That's kind of going to be my Gatoh move watching going forward here, is if any match in particular piques my interest that pops up on YouTube, I will watch it and continue on my way. This was one I definitely had to take my time out. It's a 14-minute match. Mei Suruga, the future of Gatoh move, and I think a big piece of the future of Joshi wrestling. I think Mitsuru Kono is still in that realm, but it seems that Mei Suruga is the person going forward, and Kagetsu, being on her retirement tour, popped in a visit and did a good 14-minute match with the young, cute Mei Suruga. Suruga's really, really come to her own the last, I want to say, 4 to 6 months of just being able to play a crowd. It's like a mini Emi Sakura in a lot of ways. She's getting a lot of her near falls in. Everything's going over. Kagetsu, being Kagetsu, really just playing to a crowd, playing off her opponent's charisma, personality. As my cat jumps off the mic table. Wouldn't be a RedLeafRetrocast without the cat coming into play with the microphone. But yeah, Kagetsu just doing what she does best. Mei Suruga playing off her own strengths. So this tandem worked out excellently. A lot of comedy in the beginning. Then it became a match as it rolled on. And then a lot of near fall finishes at the end. It was fantastic. The near falls for Mei going over Kagetsu really engrossed me into the match and the story it was telling. But in the end, it was a big DVD 450 splash in which Kagetsu got the win. In a way, it was a big rub for Mei Suruga. Just continues to be a star. I'm definitely a fan of her Oklahoma roll, putting her hands doing the cute pose that she does, so she can't help but be cute. That's Mei Suruga's character. I hope Mei Suruga really breaks out more into 2020. She doesn't just become complacent in Gatoh move. I want to see more of her going over to like Pro Wrestling Eve and having great matches with the British wrestlers over there. She had one with Jazz, which was kind of a breakout international performance. Kind of like what what I want to see Maki Ito do, is break out of the whole DDT Tokyo Joshi Pro and expand. You know, I don't want to see them. As much as I love these small promotions and small Joshi promotions, I'll get into it with Ice Ribbon later with Maya Yukihi, and just it feels like when you get complacent and stuck into one promotion, you don't break out into the industry as a whole, and that's what I'm afraid of Mei falling into. Like Riho. She did everything she could with Gatoh move and is finally breaking out into a huge promotion, which is AEW, which is a nationally televised, worldwide type wrestling promotion. Just some thoughts there. And then after that, maybe I should play another drop here. I think I will. Go check out the Kagetsu Mei Suruga match as I look for my next drop. There it is. I'm a big fan of Tyler Bates' Progress music. It's great. So, Progress Chapter 101, Dalmatians, took place, and my fears are definitely coming true with Progress Wrestling. As awesome as a lot of these indie wrestlers are in the UK scene, it's taken such a big hit over who's a star, who's left, and the booking to top it all off. It's just like an icing on the cake of, man, the booker's leaving for NXT UK, the interest just falling from grace, and as much as I loved the end result, the show itself was a huge slog to get through, along with the booking and the wrestlers involved. It's just it's a conglomeration of all my fears coming true. It's kind of like Rev Pro, where they have to they have to have the New Japan guys come in. Ospreay won the British heavyweight title over this weekend. I won't be going into it at all. He beat Zack Sabre Jr., even though he lost in the previous encounter, then in a random tag match he got him. But anyways, besides the point. Here, Eddie Dennis, due to injury, has to drop the title. So, in common sense, based on what we saw at Chapter 100 with a big culmination, or 99, of big culmination with Cara Noir getting the number one contendership, he gets an automatic entry in a fatal 4-way match. Why it's a fatal 4-way? I don't know. My assumption is, based on what I've seen since Chapter 12, or 15 when I started, whenever it was. I know it was like Chapter 40 when I started the podcast, so I've been here for over 60 chapters now, covering Progress Wrestling. Nobody's been built to be a contender, or even be main event, other than the guys that left for NXT UK, big name foreigners from the United States, and Cara Noir. So, their only choice is, fatal 4-way. I say no, because there was a guy on the show that they could have told a story over the course of the night. 2 guys, actually, to make this way more intriguing for a night as a whole. So, fatal 4-way, they had 3 qualifying matches, hybrid qualifying / Proteus title match, and then kind of junk in between. Filler, if you will. DNR loses again, so do not resuscitate. I'm done with them. I've totally given up. They're losers that aren't even worth my time watching, and they're against people that aren't getting over because they're against do not resuscitate. So a win over them is meaningless. So we have Ilya Dragunov against Mark Andrews in the opening match that lasts 8 seconds. Why? Okay, Mark Andrews is the henchman friend of Eddie Dennis, which they've done nothing for to tell the story. So now he gets beaten 8 seconds. Dragunov is in the Fatal 4-Way with Cara Noir. Okay, they have a history. I can get behind it. If they can tell the story behind it, then I'll give it a chance. But as far as I'm concerned, why is Dragunov in this picture in the first place, since he had the number one contendership and he lost to Noir fair and square in a 2 out of 3 falls match? Cut to Kyle Fletcher against LJ Cleary, of all people. Bear in mind, Kyle Fletcher is a tag team wrestler. Yes, Mark Davis is very injured. Kyle Fletcher needs to take this opportunity to break out into a singles run, but he's not built up at all. So the crowd isn't like, hey, look, the UK crowd, especially the Progress crowd, is among the best in wrestling. I think WXW has it beat. I think Beyond Wrestling has it beat on a lot of levels. I think the AEW crowd has it beat on a lot of levels. But Kyle Fletcher has no credibility as a singles wrestler. He's had 1 match, as far as I'm concerned, in the last 2 to 3 years, and that was against Jay White and Rev Pro to break out as a single star. But he's a tag team wrestler, especially in Progress Wrestling. This crowd knows him as a tag team wrestler. He doesn't have the build as, say, Paul Robinson, who has that credibility as both the singles and tag wrestler. He's got the Proteus title, he's got the badass moniker, he's got the personality to go with it. So him getting a shot and defending against A-Kid, okay, sidestep here, A-Kid as a Proteus title makes sense, because he's the more shoot type wrestler. He can maybe choke him out. I like that. And they threw on the winner also gets thrown into the main title picture. I say this didn't need that at all. Could have been just a Proteus title match. You didn't need the extra guy. Okay? That way it actually raises the prestige of how important this second belt is. Is it the main one of the promotion? Probably not. But it does serve a purpose, and Paul Robinson is carrying that purpose. He's doing a great job. So you didn't need that. You didn't need Dragunov beating Mark Andrews in 8 seconds. Okay? And I would say, don't put the stipulation of the Kyle Fletcher LJ Cleary match as you just get into the main event for the vacant title. Have them have a singles match that went to 16 minutes, and that will I will argue that furthers the purpose of cementing Kyle Fletcher as a single star than him inevitably losing in the main event. Because then you can further build up Fletcher as that single star for the promotion going forward. Much more value there. And I definitely felt it, as we'll get into with this main event. So, now onto the main event. You have Dragunov, Fletcher. You have Paul Robinson, who beat A-Kid. Dislocated his thumb or something on a punch. And then you have Cara Noir. So the story going in is very just, we're going to throw a bunch of guys in, we got to fill out a card. When there was so much more opportunity, an easy opportunity, I say, to build guys up and build guys that you want going forward, right? So, how I would have booked this, I think, would have been Eddie Dennis has to vacate the title, but you can easily do this, he can nominate someone to go in, and whom better than his henchman and legit former Progress champion and superstar Mark Andrews. Okay? If you want to have a qualifying match, then sure, you can have the Dragunov qualifying match, but in that case, I would then book it 2 ways. They go to a fucking 20-minute draw, and that leads to a 3-way. Fine. With Cara Noir. Or you have Andrews go over Ilya Dragunov. Either one of those 2 situations would have been fine with, right? Because Mark Andrews has a ploy in the grander story of it all going forward. Instead, he loses in 8 seconds. He's out of there. Yesterday's garbage, right? So the way the 4-way went is it didn't have any story at all to it. It was just they're exchanging moves. It's an elimination match, by the way. They're exchanging moves left and right. No rhyme or reason to it. There's pins being broken up. There's people getting cut off. So, in making sense, it made no sense, right? So, Paul Robinson is the first one to go out. Fletcher gets a big pump handle tombstone, very similar to Julia's finisher in Stardom, actually. And 1, 2, 3, and then Paul Robinson no-sells it. And commentaries go, oh, he pinned the Proteus champion. Well, that's not the stipulation of the Proteus title. He has to knock him out or submit him. Him no-selling the 3 count, more or less, to me, buries Fletcher's finisher, and he's not going to be able to beat Robinson, because that's not the stipulation of the title that he's now, quote-unquote, going to challenge for. So, strike 1 there, and then strike 2 is they go another few minutes, and Dragunov hits the Torpedo Moscow on Fletcher through Cara Noir. It's a cool spot, but then when I thought about it, even for a split second, I go, well, Cara Noir falls and pins Fletcher on the way down. 1, 2, 3. So that leaves Dragunov and Noir. So Fletcher, they've now established, is not main event material. So the end goal of it all was just Dragunov, Cara Noir again, which we've seen their trilogy play out to culminating with Noir getting the title shot. All this just doesn't come across well to me. So, I am glad to say, though, that what happened to end this show, the last 10 minutes I believe it was 10 minutes. The match went 24 minutes. Of Noir versus Dragunov was outstanding. Okay? As soon as Noir pinned Fletcher and Dragunov realized it, he went into a frenzy. This is like a Greek tragedy unfolding before us. Dragunov knows he doesn't want to fight his now newfound love, his wrestling-loving friend, Cara Noir. The picture is being painted in front of us. He can't stand that he's going to have to fight someone he can't beat. And Noir gets up and realizes it. They have a stare down, fists in front. They embrace. They talk to each other. All right, I'm going to beat you 1, 2, 3. We're going to do this. They hit the ropes, double clothesline. Oh, beautiful. There's even a moment where they both clothesline each other, and Dragunov falls on Noir in a sort of bro embrace. Greek tragedy playing in front of us situation. Oh man, if that was the pin, would have been beautiful. Because then we are now set up for kind of resetting the feud in a way. But instead, Noir kicks out, rolls over. Dragunov, they embrace again. They look at each other. They look into each other's eyes. Oh, they feel it. They have a massive back and forth. Just kind of no selling, but they are as well, where they're getting hit hard, but they're finding that, fighting spirit. They hit that one more move, they go down, just can't put each other away. And in the end, John Woo drop kick. No big sleeper hold. Hiroshi Goroshi from Cara Noir, and he gets the pin, new champion. Sign of respect there. So, we said this on the podcast, Jay was here. Cara Noir as champion is the right decision going forward. Because now you've put this new star on the rise, and you've put the star on the Christmas tree, right? You've now closed the chapter of Cara Noir rising to the top. Great story there. How it was executed maybe wasn't the best. I think maybe so who's the next challenger? And as we find out in the next chapter, it's just Chris Brooks. He's just showing up, gets a title match. I've seen independent companies, whether it's Limitless, whether it's Beyond, whether it's I guess you could throw Impact or MLW in there, but they have weekly shows. So I'll just stick with WXW, Riptide, also in the UK, Beyond Limitless. They have monthly shows. Progress has more than monthly shows. They have bi-monthly shows almost. There is no reason why they aren't building up more congruent storylines month to month, show to show. They're not doing it, and that's a huge miss. They're not replacing the stars. WXW, yes, they've struggled with it because they have less star access than Progress and other UK companies. They're over in Central Europe, right? But they're building up the guys that they have and telling more stories with the talent they have, and that's what's keeping interest. Progress isn't doing that. Cara Noir champion, hey, fantastic. I loved how that match ended. But there's just way too many holes. Do not resuscitate. I've totally given up on now. 2020 was a turning point. They could have made them win. But at the end of the day, it's the Cara Noir show and NXT UK guys, I guess, coming in. If Progress gets bought out by WWE at this point, I think I'm already stopped watching it now. I'm definitely not watching 102, the first chapter I'm going to miss in God knows how long. I'm definitely not interested in it. There's nothing on the card that piques it. The women's division is totally scrapped, as far as I can see. There's just nothing going on there. It's all the talent's basically gone. So, anyways, we'll take this now on to the weekly wrestling recap with Mom. We got Moxley Suzuki to talk about there, AEW, and more. And she will join later for the Dragon Gate show. Yes, that is what you get to look forward to with her. So, here's the drop for AEW, and I will come back all by myself later. See you in a bit.
The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best promotion.
Hey, welcome back to another weekly wrestling recap with Mom.
Hey, I'm here.
Mom, you're back. You
I'm back.
refused to record while you were visiting me for my birthday, but we did watch a lot of wrestling while you were here for my birthday.
There you go.
And we went snowboarding. You went skiing.
Yes.
You fell on your butt once.
On cement ice.
That's
on the
not how
slopes
ice
that
or
was.
cement works.
Well, that ice going down the slopes was like falling on an ice because when you can't dig your pole points into the ground, that's a pretty frozen ground. So it's like trying to poke into cement. You can't do it. Couldn't do it. Ski patrol. Get out of the way, son. Let me handle this. Take my arm. Okay. Are you okay? Yes, just a little wounded on my butt, but I'll be fine. And off we go skiing for more. So I didn't break nothing. I only fell that once, so that's pretty damn good.
I didn't fall at all, which was
even more
shocking.
miraculously amazing. So
I got the new
for
snowboard.
JD.
You fell for me.
I fell for us. You got that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So before we get into AEW,
oh really?
The last couple episodes,
okay,
we have to talk about what you thought after Wrestle Kingdom. After Wrestle Kingdom from New Japan, you were very interested in watching the next Jon Moxley match. He's become your basically favorite wrestler of late, correct?
Yes, he is my favorite wrestler.
So at New Beginnings in Osaka, he faced
Crazy Man
Minoru Suzuki, defending his New Japan United States title.
Yes.
In an epic encounter.
Yes.
What did you think of this match?
It was very entertaining. And I was so glad to see Moxley's eye had healed.
He was not healed. He's still wearing the eye patch, even in Japan.
Not till the end, though. He was not.
Well, it was ripped off and knocked off his face. Can't help it.
And then
he was facing a madman.
Yes, it was a madman. They were so goofy. It was so fun to watch and see Moxley in a different environment with somebody that actually matched Moxley's wrestling. So I thought it was a good match, all in all. And craziness, he was matching Moxley's craziness. So it was a good match. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining.
It was about two crazy motherfuckers beating each other up to a pulp.
Yep.
Not being able to go down. There was smiling. There was laughing, because the only thing that matters in life to Minoru Suzuki is getting the shit kicked out of him or beating the shit out of someone else, and he was getting the best of both worlds. So for the whole match, Minoru Suzuki, he thrived. He was having an orgasmic experience the entire time.
Oh my.
Oh my god, that shot after Moxley put him through the table, and then the camera looks at him and he's just in a daze, but he's smiling. Right. It looks like he needed to change his pants immediately. He was so happy.
Right. But see, and that's what I say. Moxley and him, they were a good. It was a good matchup for performance and for physicality, and I think Moxley probably could have thrown the shit out of him more, but then he didn't want to hurt the old guy.
Well, the old guy is a seasoned MMA veteran.
Right.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he is a badass. He's a cuckoo ass. He's all about cuckoo. You know what? If he had a straitjacket on, I think he still would have. It would have been a good match.
Well, they were doing everything.
Yeah,
to get something out of the other guy. They were mocking each other's mannerisms. I really got a kick out of Minoru Suzuki.
That was what I was really laughing about too. I mean, it was that cracked me up.
So Moxley would like shimmer the shoulders and then hit Suzuki with a big forearm, and then Suzuki would shimmer back, and he just has that maniacal laugh that he ha 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 ha,
right.
And he does it right back. The crowd's cracking up, totally into it.
Well, what I thought was going to happen, because Mox reminded me of the Three Stooges with let's see, what is he, Curly, when he goes woo, 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 woo. That's all I needed. That's all I needed next. I mean, honestly, because you know how Curly would go over his face like 3 or 4 times and then
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's all that Moxley needed to do. It would have been perfect. Go curly on him.
And then all the wacky wrestling angles that were mixed in with it, ranging from Suzuki picking up part of the broken table, whacking it against his head because he's so crazy mad and having a great time. He's just bang, bang, bang. And then Moxley picks up the other end and he hits himself with it because he can do it right back.
Right.
Anything you could do, I can also do. I have to be just as crazy. Because the story of the match, as I took it, was...
how crazy are you?
How crazy is the other guy compared to my crazy?
Right.
And everything Moxley tried to do, Suzuki did one better. Can he hit him harder? Well, yes, he can. Can he be more crazy? Well, yes, he can.
Even at the end, can he be more crazy? Yeah, he's tearing down the barriers. That was funny on his way out.
I mean, there was a Pillmanizing the arm, so Moxley, for a good chunk of the match, was heavily favoring the arm.
Right.
And I love good limb work, and so it was interesting, because Suzuki attacks the arm with the chair, so Moxley then, if you look closely from that point on, he's still kind of doing some moves, but he's heavily favoring it, so everything's done with his left arm. My God, Cat, make a decision where you're going to go. He is awful right now. He's up on the table, down on the table, up on the couch, off the couch, up on the table again.
Put him in your bedroom and close the door.
I don't lock my cat up. I learned my lesson with that one. He likes to tear the carpet up.
Oh, then just put him in the bathroom. You can't do damage there.
Oh, yeah, he reaches under and gets that part of the carpet. You were here. You've seen that part of the carpet.
Well. Anyway.
Where were we? Oh, yes. So, so then Moxley, so they'd go right back to the forearm exchange, and Moxley tries hitting him with the right arm, the one that just got hit with the chair. Commentary went absolutely bonkers with it. They're like, it's probably broken. He'll never have use in his arm again. And he immediately uses the arm, or at least tries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I tend to kind of ignore commentary a lot of the time these days, especially in wrestling, because I like making my own kind of inner narrative to it all. So the way I saw it was Suzuki just damaged his arm, right? And because they're so tough, there's no way it was broken. But he hits him, he favors it. So then he immediately starts striking with the left arm, but because it's not his dominant arm, he can't do as much damage. So Suzuki, again, big smile on his face. Ah, ha, 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 I got him. See what you can give me, boy. Right? And it wasn't until the very end where he hits that big clothesline, and then that's when finally Suzuki wobbles. Oh, he's like Godzilla or King Kong falling off the building. No! One more, like a gunshot. Bang, and he's down.
Yeah, that was good.
Hits the one more DDT and pins him. Finally. And of course, the last, the very, just sticking with the theme of it, the very last shot is, of course, Suzuki smiling.
Of course.
He had a fight, and he loved it.
Good one.
It was
good.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. Glad I got to see it.
Maybe anytime some goofy Moxley match is going to happen, you have to watch it in New Japan.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. Or would you be interested in watching another Minoru Suzuki match?
I don't know. He's a little on the cuckoo side.
Well, I mean,
I've seen him.
Not all of them are this animated.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. You've seen a piece of him before. It is important to note, after the match, Zack Sabre Jr., Suzuki's faction teammate, attacked Moxley, choked him out. So they're going to have British champion versus U.S. champion in Japan. So wrap your mind around that one.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm a big Zack Sabre Jr. fan. So that's a very unique matchup. Very cool stuff.
I want to see that one.
All right, well, that'll be the next one.
Okay, perfect.
Keeping up with Moxley in New Japan, says Mom.
Yes, that's what I say. Yeah. Cool.
I'm glad you liked it. And later in the show, you will get my full new beginnings in Sapporo and the rest of Osaka later in the show. Well, let's get on to AEW. I did play the Kenny Omega music, just right fast. Notes from AEW Dark. The Nyla Rose-Shauna feud kind of came to an end on Dark. It was a tables match. I was quite entertained. Nyla Rose defeated Shauna in a It was acceptable, I would say.
Okay.
You know, I don't expect much out of the women's division in general, but as long as they give me a reason to watch and they put on a good effort, I'm all for it. And Nyla Rose and Shauna delivered. It's one of the better AEW women's matches out there. Shauna came out in Dragon Ball Z inspired Goku gear, which is quite funny. She's a big Dragon Ball Z fan.
Oh, okay.
But Nyla Rose destroyed her nonetheless, so that's kind of the big win and pushes Nyla Rose essentially into more title contention, one might say, or at least rising up the rankings, despite Chris Statlander getting screwed in her title match. Kind of keeps her up in the rankings, I guess you could look at it that way. But with Nyla Rose winning this one and, obviously later on Dynamite, she beat another person, and that cemented her reason to get a title shot, basically. And then she tries to beat up Shauna some more after that match, but Sadie Gibbs comes out and tries to run wild, tries a space flying tiger drop, but kind of slips on the landing a little bit. It looked kind of goofy. Nyla Rose moved out of the way, but it looked like she just wasn't there to get hit, so it was kind of shoddy camera work, unfortunately.
Okay.
But Nyla Rose beat her, so I guess nothing's going to come to that yet. And then the other note is Mel lost to Hikaru Shida in a singles match, and the post-match angle was Luther and Melanie Cruz beat up Awesome Kong. No Brandy was present, so presumably along with the whole Brandy angle being in therapy trying to figure out her issues, this is basically the end of the Nightmare Collective as we have come to know it. Not the worst loss in the world. It was a story that just didn't work out. It played its course with Shida and Statlander overcoming the Nightmare Collective. They went on their losing ways, and now the group is disbanded, more or less. Not the worst loss in the world, I would say. What do you think?
I think you're right.
Okay. So January 29th, episode 17 from Cleveland, Ohio. What did you think of the show as a whole before we go down kind of segment to segment?
As a whole, it was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it. I had some things stand out for me for that. Where am I?
Which were?
Which were the Kip Sabian versus the Cody match. And of course my Darby Allin match against Jericho and Private Party and Santana. I like that match too.
No segments in particular stood out, the non-wrestling match-wise?
Non-wrestling?
Yeah, the promos, the talking, anything?
I don't know. What are you getting at?
Well, maybe when we go down, your memory will be jogged.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot like that. You know I go dead when you do that.
So the show starts out with Moxley coming out. He's wearing the eye patch because he got stabbed by Jericho. That bastard. he cuts a nice little promo saying he's going to beat him at Revolution, basically. He got his eye stabbed, blah, blah, blah. Jericho and the Inner Circle come out to interrupt. And then something, as they go on, the ending was really weird. So Moxley says he's not dumb enough to take on 5-on-1. And then Jericho goes, well, I have thugs, extra thugs. Because Santana and Ortiz are also thugs, so they have thug friends. Here's 5 more guys that come out.
Well, I liked it when Jericho in his red sparkly jacket calls everybody Cleveland idiots, and then goes, ho, 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 and a bottle of dumb.
Oh, he's super corny, and it's all part of his character.
Jericho,
the clothes Jericho wears every week. Like, I really have to compliment the clothes Jericho wears every week. He just, it's almost like he goes to a Goodwill, picks the 3 most ridiculous things at the Goodwill of whatever town he's in, and he goes, I'm gonna wear that on Dynamite.
Right. Moxley versus 10 of Jericho's Inner Circle. Sure.
Yeah, he goes, I'm not alone. I have all of Ohio behind me. And then
Right.
he walks up to him, he DDTs Ortiz, and then he just takes on the rest. Like, implying that the audience was going to jump the barricade and help him.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But instead, security immediately breaks up all of this before hell breaks loose. Very strange. It was like they had an idea, but didn't know how to end it. It was very strange.
Yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it. Yeah. I could see that. I definitely could see that.
So, MJF visits an actual butcher shop, and he's in, like, the meat locker. And there's the butcher, the blade, and the bunny.
Right.
Just kind of hanging out, doing their butcher things. And MJF he gives money to the bunny, and it just says bucks. So that's the setup for the match, because as we know from the boat, the Young Bucks threw MJF in the pool and then laughed at him for not being able to swim.
There was a sign in the audience that caught my eye, because MJF came out like the asshole he is, and the sign that says MJF stands when he wipes. I thought that was funny. I love looking at the audience.
I always love a good audience sign when it says just wacky stuff.
Yeah. I thought that sign was a good one.
Well, what did you think of the match, Mother, as it went 8 minutes, 39 seconds?
I thought it was a good match. Lots of action out of the Young Bucks. They were showing some good moves. And the Butcher and the Blade actually were looking good too. They came out pretty aggressive. Matt Jackson had some awesome moves through the ropes. Then the Bucks looked really good too.
Yeah, it wasn't your typical, like what you associate the Young Bucks when they have a wrestling match. This was a very standard tag team match affair, which is nice to see. I think that's the benefit to the Butcher and the Blade and how they wrestle. With veterans, it gets them to wrestle more of their way, to play to your strengths. The Young Bucks are very versatile that way. They're not just the spot monkeys that a lot of people associated with. Hey, 5 years ago, I was very much on the Young Bucks are nothing but spot monkeys. They don't know how to tell a story or anything, and all that has changed in the last 5 years. So they no longer meet that indie stereotype that they used to have. They are way better than that now, and this was a good match. The post match was the best though, because MJF is on commentary and he's fantastic because he's MJF.
Right.
He's a dick.
Right.
Butcher and Blade try beating up the Young Bucks after the match, as per MJF's tasteful agreeance. Sure. He agrees with the beatdown. No, I wanted to say that, but that doesn't work.
Right.
So, so they're beating up the Young Bucks, and then Kenny Omega in his like salmon shirt and loafers of all things makes the save, and then here comes Hangman Page just kind of trotting out. He's got his big beer in his hand.
Yep.
He gets on the apron, hands his beer to Matt Jackson, like hold my beer, and then he hits the buckshot lariat. Crowd goes wild. He grabs his beer, gets out of the ring, and walks away and slams it down and celebrates. Oh, my God, it's like the best thing I've seen this week.
Paige is pretty awesome. I've been really enjoying his character and what he's working on. You know, he's working on his drinking spree.
Well, it's so good. So we kind of posted the question
/ drinking spree.
Yeah, we posted the question. It was either in the last episode or the episode before this, or the last one, where, you know, are we worried that they're kind of taking Drunk Hangman Page too far? It's a line that they have to be careful to cross, or make sure they don't cross the line, rather.
Right.
And with all the things they've done, it's really gone into creating a good character. Hangman Page was tired of losing, being the loser of the elite. He tries to break off. Mm-hmm. He's sad that he's losing, so he's drinking a little bit more than probably someone should, right? He's taking out his sadness with alcohol, which isn't a good thing in society.
Well, he's sticking to beer.
But then when he wins, he celebrates like a college kid that just got an A on his test. Wow, party!
Right.
You know, everything requires a beer. I'm sad. Okay, I need a beer to calm my sadness. I'm happy. It's a beer to celebrate.
Right.
You know, it's just like what a college kid would do almost.
Yeah, for real. I'm done with my test. Hooray!
I'm done with my test. Did you pass? Yes, celebrate. Did you fail? Yes, let's not celebrate but drink.
Right.
You know, either way, it's going to end with a beer.
Exactly.
And you know what? I can totally relate to that.
I know, right? Can't we all?
Yeah. I'm nervous before this test. I got to have a beer.
Right. But let me have
I'm nervous before bowling tonight. I got to have a beer. So yeah, the Hangman Page character was utterly fantastic here. I don't want him to be a bad guy anymore. I don't want him to join the Dark Order. You know what? It should be Kenny Omega. It shouldn't be Hangman Page. Because Omega is the best. Anyways.
Omega? The Dark Order? No, I couldn't see that.
Yeah. The Exalted One. It's Kenny Omega.
I can't see that.
No. Yeah, I don't see it working. Nyla Rose defeats Big Swole in 8:44. Match was very below par. Let's just put it at that. Just gives Nyla Rose a win. Big Swole had a I think she racked up a couple wins. I know she beat Emi Sakura. So this was kind of a way to rise up in the rankings, and that's what happened. Nyla Rose won. Move on.
It's a pretty slow match. Rose wins.
Yeah.
Not much from Swole, actually. A few moves, but pretty flat for both, actually. Wasn't feeling much on that one.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right.
Kip Sabian versus Cody.
The masterpiece match.
Yeah.
The masterpiece. Cody with Arn Anderson defeats Kip Sabian with...
reminds me of Orange Cassidy. It's the hair. And they come, and the look with the sunglasses. It's just, put those two together. They look like bros, There's just...
Put them together. I want to see a match between those two.
Yeah, well, as there should be. Couple of egos coming out. Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Do you realize the first singles match Orange Cassidy is going to have is just going to be insane with the crowd reaction? Because he hasn't had a match yet by himself. It's always been in like a 6-man tag situation.
And he's always wearing jeans.
Well, that's
his
shtick.
sin.
They're slightly torn. He wears a t-shirt with his own face on it, wearing a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We
so
haven't
this
seen
match
him play singles match, have we? Haven't seen him wrestle.
I mean, I've seen him on the indie scene. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So Cody and Kip Sabian have a 12.5-minute match, and I'm very tempted to put this as my number one AEW match of the year so far. Because I love this so much.
What?
It was so ridiculous and fun.
Huh. Well, I guess we don't see eye to eye.
Oh, you didn't... Why, you didn't like it? I thought you said you liked it.
My first words that I wrote were not really very with these two. So stupid with Arn Anderson coaching Cody. I just think that's really stupid. And then,
so the shtick in the match, I'm going to interrupt you here.
Okay.
The shtick in the match was Arn Anderson and Penelope Ford doing their managerial roles, right?
Okay.
Arn Anderson's like the NBA coach. You know,
Right.
Nothing's going his way. His team's getting screwed. He's going to argue with the ref. He's throwing the clipboard down, you know. And then Penelope Ford's like the evil team from out of town that's just all the calls are going their way. No matter what they can do, they can just blame the other team. And the refs are like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
And one thing just kept rolling off of each other. It was almost like an old NWA 80s goofy manager match, which was really fun.
Okay.
Where the good guy just kept getting screwed over, and then the bad guy was just getting a little bit more cocky each time, right? Because they feel the winds in their grasp, and then in that fourth quarter, it all falls apart for them because something happens. In this case, Joey Janela gets involved and really throws off their game, right?
Right.
But I loved Arn Anderson's character in all this, just seeing him unfold. He just starts getting more and more angry. You know, Kip Sabian pushes him, and then when the ref turns around, he just goes, "No, he pushed me." Arn Anderson's like, "What, are you fucking kidding me? He pushed me. That's bullshit."
Well, then
he's all mad with his clipboard.
Gets into the ring and bumps the ref.
Well, that's after Penelope Ford takes her shoe off and throws it in the ring, and then she points at Arn Anderson like he took it from her and threw it in the ring, and the ref gets all upset. So then Arn Anderson grabs the shoe, and it's almost like the foul wasn't on me, it was on her. And the ref's just not hearing it, and then he chest bumps him, and then he's kicked out. Get out of here. You see Kip Sabian's face just, we got him. The coach is gone. They've been ejected in the third quarter. Now we're into the fourth, and they're just kissing each other. Cody's been taken out. They go in for the big smooch.
For the kiss.
Joey Janela just pops in like a what would be
that was too funny.
Like Jim Carrey in The Mask or something.
Right.
Just there he pops up, takes the sunglasses off, big goofy face. Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian kiss him on both sides of the cheek. Then they look at him.
Right.
They're just like, "What just happened?
Right.
No, this is awful." And that eventually leads to a minute or two later, Cody just destroys him afterwards because they just got too cocky and then they got thrown off their mental game. Cody gets him with the Oz Cutter, then hits not one, not two, but 3 crossroads to really put him down because he just got so fed up with their antics. I loved it.
See,
I
thought it was okay, but it still was a little flat. And so I'm not sure that Cody is ready yet for MJF or even Wardlow for that matter. Yeah. I'm still not feeling that Cody.
You're not convinced?
I'm not sure Cody could win against Wardlow. Nah.
Not on the Cody train?
No. And I know everyone loves him. Not impressed. No. Not seeing it. Not feeling it.
Britt Baker out for a promo. She's with Tony Schiavone again. Calls him Mr. Starbucks.
Right.
He looks to the camera disgusted. Britt Baker says, "We were the stars of the boat last week." Well, I was the star. You were there holding the mic.
Right.
Then she ridicules good old JR there. She's like, "Oh, you're a legend. But how dare you cut me off in my promo last week?" You know, disgusted in JR. And because of this, she starts to make fun of him. Calls him a barbecue salesman from Oklahoma or something, and then says, you ridicule me, you you have an opinion over me when I'm here every week, and the champion's not. Another more alluding to Riho.
Well, see,
You are a failed barbecue salesman, and not the guy of the past whom today can't even get everyone's names on the rosters right. So, everyone boos. She ends looking at the Cleveland crowd saying, Cleveland, you have a baker you can trust in now. Alluding to the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
So
I think
much better.
Britt, excuse me, Britt's joining the bitch squad, and Britt hates Riho as much as me. I feel so special.
Oh, you have something to relate to Britt Baker with.
She's gone total ego. Britt has. She's
the
really
prettiest girl in the crowd every week. She's a role model. She's very proud of that.
Yeah. she's gone total ego bitch.
Well, I mean, she's frustrated with her failures as a wrestler lately, not getting the spotlight she feels she deserves, and with her losses, now she's kind of taking it out on everybody else. Now she's like, well, I may not be winning as a wrestler, but I'm still a dentist. I'm a DMD, and you can't take that away from me. So she's now relying on her one accomplishment she has over others. She's developed a character. Hey, how about that? Pretty good. I love it. This promo compared to the boat one was she wasn't out of breath. She was much more focused. She delivered the lines better that she had. It's good.
She was probably, if you're talking about the boat, she probably had motion sickness and had to have medication.
She had to take some Dramamine.
Yeah, I think
I mean, it's possible. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, think about it. Not everyone, doesn't get on a boat and not feel sick. So who knows? It was pretty windy.
True.
It was pretty windy on that boat. No telling. But if they were on sail, it would have been a lot windier than it was, I think. They might have been on port when they were doing that show. But I don't know. I'm only speculating.
SCU with Christopher Daniels defeat the Hybrid 2. That's the team of Angelico
Blonde
and
White
Jack
Boys.
Evans. Excuse me?
They're known as the Blonde White Boys at one time.
Blonde White Boys.
Yeah, Hybrid 2. They were also known as the Blonde White Boys, wherever they were wrestling before.
Why did you Google this?
No, I heard him say it.
Oh. Okay.
And I go,
if you say so.
Interesting. Yeah. There's your trivia for the day. I listen to everything. That's why I have to write things down. Otherwise, I'd forget things like that. They were, yeah.
It was a match. SCU wins. Dark Order then has a video that they're coming for Christopher Daniels. They're quite upset that he did not accept their offer to join. Evil Uno popped up on the screen to issue a warning to Christopher Daniels. The Exalted One is unhappy with him. As a result, the Dark Order will now be targeting his friends and family. Ooh. So, do we have an Exalted One prediction update?
No. Maybe it's Pac.
He would be... Man, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, right?
Ooh. I think that would work. That would definitely give the Dark Order lots of credibility. Well, obviously, Matt Hardy is the popular one. I've seen Raven be pushed around a little bit. Christopher Daniels even, being the fallen angel, he's been pushed around as one. So we'll see. Pac promo, he's coming for blood.
Mm-hmm.
He's out in full gear in the cold in some dank alley, in which I can only assume is Jack the Ripper's private alley. Pac can't stand the arrogance and the audacity of Kenny Omega, thinking he can fit Pac in when it's convenient for Kenny. Pac will now be doing things on his terms, and it will start next week. Foreshadowing.
Well,
If you got
Pac
all
was
that
also
from his
threatening
promo.
Moxley's other eye.
Well, I mean, he kind of pushed him aside because he lost last week. He lost fair and square.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, gotta need Kenny. Wants his rubber match. 6-man tag to end the show. Inner Circle, that is the team of Jericho, Ortiz, and Santana, with Hager and Sammy Guevara taking on and defeating Darby Allin and Private Party in a 12-minute match.
You know, Darby Allin was looking more pumped up.
Oh my God, that Darby Allin hot tag, when he came in, guns a-blazing, he was just all over the place, like a bullet out of a rifle.
I like that Jericho ran away on his knees, trying to get away from Darby. And then Darby coming back, attack on everyone. Darby on Hager.
Yeah.
Jericho with the elbow on Mark Quinn for the win. That's a pretty good match for a change, actually.
What do you mean for a change?
For a change. That's what I'm saying. For a change.
Okay. So the inner circle celebrated, then returned to the ring upon their victory to dish out more pain, because they're dicks, and they specifically target Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Hager hits him with his MMA finisher, running knee to the balls. Sammy Guevara then uses Allin's own skateboard into Darby's throat. Woo!
Until Moxley comes out to save Darby.
Well, he's a little too late.
Well,
Moxley came down Sting style with a baseball bat to put an end to all the bullying that was unfolding in front of our eyes. And this angle of Sammy Guevara to using the Darby Allin skateboard. Please give me Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin at Revolution.
That would be sweet, wouldn't it?
I want that to be
awesome
to be a
match.
pay-per-view match.
Oh, that would be a good match. I'd like to see that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And because of the skateboard angle,
yeah,
you know, and it's a mid, you know, they're in the mid card currently. You can have Darby Allin like off TV for basically the rest of February, or let's see, Revolution is on Leap Year Day, so you can hold him off until like February 26th, and then he comes in and goes Revolution, right? And then they have their match. That's all you need. That's all you need. Just keep it simple.
Yeah. I think that would be a good match and a fair match.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, like I said, Darby Allin, he's getting some muscle, which is good to see. He was pretty thin when I was first watching him, so it's good to see that he's gaining some muscle mass and definitely looking stronger. It was good. It was good to see him out there looking like that. Yep. Yeah. Good match.
That'll take us into the February 5th show, episode 18 of AEW Dynamite from Huntsville, Alabama.
Yep.
Start out with Jon Moxley taking on Ortiz.
Yeah.
With Santana ringside. You know, reference to the week before where Moxley got a DDT in on Ortiz.
Yep. I like the match. And
fun.
this was Ortiz's first singles match since 2016. Did you know that? Did ya?
Well, commentary told me, and then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen him in a singles match like ever.
Yeah.
So
right? Since 2016. Why? I don't understand. Why?
Well, they're tag team wrestlers.
Oh.
Wrestle as a tag team.
Oh. He's always just been a tagger.
A tag guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when when it was time for like a singles match, I believe Santana was always the guy that was in, not Ortiz.
As far as singles, you mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Santana was always the guy who did that. Gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like with the Best Friends. You don't really see Chucky T in singles
No.
matches. You always see Trent.
Right. Uh-huh.
So Jericho and Guevara on commentary here in this match, and they're brilliant. Jericho saying things like, Sammy, I have one thing to tell you. Don't treat anyone nice.
Right. Don't ever treat...
Don't do anything nice for anybody. Don't trust anybody.
Don't trust
Sammy
no one.
just goes, I'll write that down.
Right. Even though I don't have a pen, I'll write it down.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Moxley does end up, they do the whole Santana on the apron. Ortiz accidentally hits him, turns around, Moxley gets him with the DDT for the win. Santana tries jumping him post-match, and then Moxley gets the better of him, and then he pulls out the car keys.
I love it.
The Ford GT car keys.
I love that he's fighting with his car keys.
He fought the whole match with the car keys in his pocket, which is quite funny. He pulls them out. He puts Santana in view of Jericho with Sammy and Hagar on the top of the ramp. Jericho's talking shit to him, way far away.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moxley goes, eye for an eye, and pulls the key part out of the fob, and jams it into Santana's eye, and Jericho's just freaking out. Go get him! Go get him! And then if Moxley bolts, and as soon as he gets over the barricade, that's when Jericho goes, okay, now I'll come down. You bastard running away from us!
Oh, right.
And even then, later in the show, Jericho is found in the back.
If Jericho would have run into the ring, probably Moxley would have gone after him too. Ooh, that would have been good. Get two of them in the eye. Bam, bam. Then you'd have a bunch of pirates walking in the ring. Oh, that'd be cool. Kind of cool. Kind of like that stupid blind match we watched.
Oh, the Havoc Warner match. Is that what the eye for an eye match is going to be? It's going to be those two blindfolded trying to poke each other in the other eye? I don't know.
I don't know. Another Three Stooge move.
Yeah. So speaking of eye for an eye, later in the show, Jericho and the Inner Circle are found backstage. Jericho pulls the mic away and he says something along the line of, what kind of monster attacks someone in the eye?
Right.
Makes someone blind. What a horrible human being. Just being a total hypocrite.
It's totally hypocrisy at its finest.
Santana grabs the mic and he cuts a fiery promo for a match next week versus Moxley. Eye for an eye.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, that's gonna it's gonna be a great one-eyed match.
Yeah, it will be.
I can't wait. I think Moxley should actually have that patch with like the skull and bone on it or something, Oh,
that'd be funny.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Comes out with a fake parrot on his shoulder.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, SCU in another match against the Best Friends with Orange Cassidy. Goes 9 minutes. It is the number 1 ranked tag team versus the number 5. So presumably who wins this match kind of flip-flops in the rankings.
That's kind of an entertaining, different sort of match.
Well, I mean, it was your basic tag match. At the end of the day, there was a nice little goofy spot with Orange Cassidy while everyone's wiped out on the outside. Cassidy looks around, and then he just lays down in the middle of them.
Yeah, that was great.
But the bigger story here was definitely the Dark Order hits the ring post-match, Beaver Boys included, and they try to recruit Orange Cassidy, in which he just puts his hands in his pockets and refuses, gets a quick beatdown, and then whom should make the save? None other than the fallen angel Christopher Daniels, in which, suspiciously, the Dark Order leaves.
Yeah, why was that? Why was that?
Well, I mean, they still want to recruit him. They're awfully upset. I mean, they did say the week before that they're going after friends and family. And who's the Fallen Angels' friends? Well, SCU and the Best Friends.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this was the perfect match for the Dark Order to kick some shit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't want to hurt Christopher Daniels. They want him on their side, so it kind of makes sense with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd's chanting Fallen Angels, so I think they have their theories as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then a segment I loved. Mother. Yes, the match only went 3 minutes 25 seconds, but it was effective on so many levels. Something I just could not have predicted for myself. It's Yuka Sakazaki, in which when her name comes in, JR goes Yuka Sakazawa. So now So Britt Baker makes fun of him for getting names wrong the week before.
Right.
Now I'm convinced that he's doing it on purpose almost. It's a thing.
Well, yeah,
it is officially a thing.
He has to.
He has to be doing it now. Yuka Sakazawa
Right.
defeats Britt Baker, DMD, with the quick roll.
Well, of course, because Britt's a loser.
Well, Britt Baker basically only loses to Japanese wrestlers. She loses to Riho time and time again. Now she's lost to Yuka Sakazaki. It's always these quick roll-ups. Is she going to lose to Hikaru Shida? Well, I think she did, actually.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yeah.
So she can't beat the Japanese style.
No.
And this causes Britt Baker to lose it. She hits Yuka with a ring bell from the back. She does the Jimmy Havoc rope stomp, knocking out Yuka's teeth, the big curb stomp with biting down on the ropes.
Right.
Yuka bleeding from the mouth. She spits out a tooth. She's crying. Oh no!
She should have had a mouth guard.
And well, the next opponent for Britt Baker better have one.
Right. Now she's gonna.
But she'll just put in the lockjaw and rip it out.
Maybe she has to go to Britt and have her mouth fixed.
So yes,
Britt would probably tie her mouth shut, wire her mouth shut.
So Britt Baker definitely went into business for herself in this match. Then later she even puts. Hey, it didn't overstay its welcome. No. It did everything it needed to do.
I thought Yuka had some Yuka.
Yuka. How dare you?
Yuka Sakazawa.
Oh, now you're just trying to push buttons.
Yuka wins with great move. I was surprised she won, honestly, but she did win.
Yeah,
with a good move. So I thought it was entertaining for being a chick match.
So after the beatdown and losing a tooth, Britt Baker puts her in the lockjaw. That's her little submission mandible claw thing. And then she does a thing that I think a lot of people just didn't quite notice because she had red fingernails, red fingernail paint on. So but when she takes her hand out of her mouth, all her fingers were drenched in blood, and she kind of looks at it and then sticks it back in.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is great. She has that big maniacal smile. Ha ha ha! I have done a bad deed. So this is a very good natural heel turn for Britt Baker. I loved it, and because Yuka Sakazaki has this win now, that presumably raises her up in the rankings going forward. There you go.
Well, it was her debut too.
Dynamite debut.
Yeah, Dynamite debut.
Be specific.
So, okay. But yep, it was good.
8-man tag team match. Butcher, Blade, Lucha Brothers taking on the Elite. The group, the Elite. So Paige, Omega, Bucks. 13 minutes. Quick action match.
Yeah, it was. Paige came out fighting. Then off to the side while everyone else is on the attack. Jackson had some great moves against Lucha Brothers. Omega got some moves in, and it pretty much was a free for all. I thought.
Yes. So, one thing that this show has done to this point is, after every match, there was some sort of storyline shot afterwards. Moxley with the eye stabbing, SCU and Best Friends getting jumped by the Dark Order, Britt Baker knocking out a tooth of Sakazaki, and then here, because the Elite lose due to Page's pride and arrogance being his downfall, due to the fact that he refused to tag in the Young Bucks and he stood on the apron for like a good 5 minutes of the 13-minute match.
All right.
So he's about to tag Omega in at the end, but he gets pulled off by, I believe, one of the Lucha Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bucks are up, but he just goes, "No, I'm not tagging you guys in." And that's when he got pinned. He got beat up, pinned, and the Bucks and Page are all angry at each other. Kenny Omega's trying to be the middleman, calm everyone down. They all go their separate ways. Page gets a beer in his frustration. And then we cut to two things that happen. First, we get Pac, because they're going to interview Kenny Omega in the ring with Shivani, but before an interview gets started, Pac comes on, and there's little Riho next to him. And he goes, and he has, so remember the previous week, Pac in his Jack the Ripper alleyway goes, "I'm gonna take matters into my own hands." So, it's not gonna be on Kenny's convenience. He's gonna have things like for him, right?
Uh-huh.
So here he has a contract signing. Whether Kenny knew it about it or not doesn't matter. Pac has the contract, and Kenny's not there. That's all he cares about. And so then he basically threatens Kenny with beating up Riho, his friend, and Kenny, in a frantic way, just goes, "Pac, you have the match. Let's do it right now." Yeah. And he goes, "Okay, see, was that so hard? And I may be a bastard, but I'm not going to put my hand on a woman. That's what a beast would do, right?" And that's who she is. And then Nyla Rose comes and freaking beats the shit out of Riho.
Right?
How dare she? Power bombs are on the table, in which then Riho goes full cartoon. Splats on the table, then falls backwards with her little tutu and pink undershorts, just wide-legged, just cartoon falls at the backside. I love Riho, but man, did that make me laugh.
That was a funny one.
Nyla just goes, "Your ass is mine next week." So it was good.
It was good.
Very effective to me. And then we cut to the back again, and that's when Lexi, one of the new interview girls, she's trying to interview Hangman Page about, the loss and the discord between it all, and before you can even get a word in, Young Bucks interrupt, because of course they do, right?
Of course.
You can see Page roll his eyes.
Interrupts Page.
Right, and he's very mad about all this. So then they're all bickering again, and then Matt Jackson goes, "I think I know what your problem is," takes his beer away from his hand. Page looks devastated, looks around, contemplates. My God, they're right. Then he pulls up a big pitcher of beer. Like, all right, it wasn't enough beer I was celebrating with.
No, he made it like, well, maybe you're right. I'll just get me a bigger beer. And then he's got a freaking pitcher of beer.
My God.
He can really swallow that beer fast. He's had some good practice lately. I'd be gagging halfway through. Not even halfway through. I can't down stuff like that. But he's getting good. I think all is that big, or even bigger.
It just keeps getting comically bigger and bigger every week until he's swimming in a beer bath.
Well, there you go.
I could see that.
Yeah,
like they just keep telling him, "Stop with the beer," and he just goes, "You're right." And then the next week it shows him like in a hot tub and it's just filled with beer.
Yeah.
And Kenny's like wanting to train for their big title match, at some point. And he's just like, no, this is the training here.
Right.
Like they can keep the comedy up with this.
He could just use a straw. And just
he's drinking his beer bathwater.
oh.
Awful. That sounds fantastic and disgusting at the same time.
Oh, pick up a pubic hair.
I'm sure he's freshly shaved.
Where? Down there? No way.
Why?
Plus,
Why?
you got
Because
hairy
he's the cowboy?
legs. You got hairy legs. Everything's hairy in the water. Oh, ew. That's gross, JD. I wasn't going that far.
What?
What? Move on.
Anyways, Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford defeats Joey Janela in an 11-minute match, and it felt much longer than that.
And which honestly wasn't a fair match either, anyways.
Penelope got involved. The whole apron spot knocked off. Sabian pulls Janela's tights after it all, so maybe they're done, maybe they're not. It's kind of a loose feud, really, where Penelope can't leave the ex-boyfriend alone kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many times he tries to ignore her and then tries to get one over on him. Anyways, not much to say about it. Sabian wins.
Yeah.
Darby Allin with a flamethrower.
Love that.
It's got like the old-timey 20s music, from a silent movie. It's all black and white.
Right.
He can't talk because of the skateboard throat thing. Out in the distance in this like farm field with a big pile of leaves next to it is the cardboard cutout of Sammy Guevara hugging Chris Jericho with their goofy smiles.
Right.
And he just looks at him and then blows the giant fucking flamethrower into the cardboard cutout.
Burn.
And he lights, of course, the leaves on fire because got to get the kindling up, right?
Sure you do. That's instant fire.
Ugh, these Darby Allin videos are so fun.
I'm thinking about getting one, actually. So it would be a
cardboard cutout of Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho?
No, I'm thinking about getting a flamethrower.
Why? For all that snow you have to not clear during the winter?
No, I actually just, that's how my grass gets cut.
Oh, you just burn it to a crisp?
Right.
Why do that? Just get like a magnifying glass and torch the lawn with the Texas heat.
Well, I wouldn't have to wait for the heat.
Nah.
Well, the problem is you have to mow the yard in order for the Texas heat to really torch your grass.
Well, you mow it once and just get it as low as possible.
Just mow it once and make sure it's a really sunny, hot day, and I'll never have to mow the rest of the summer. What a great idea.
Yeah,
that's even safer than a torch.
And if anyone asks, you just say, I just couldn't control the power of my flamethrower. I think they wouldn't care about your lawn being torched at that point.
Right. That was great.
You heard Donna has a flamethrower.
Right.
That's how she mows her lawn. That's not mowing. That would be torching. Anyways. Main event.
Main event. Love it.
The
strapping. So I'm watching. I got the day off today after the trip to see you, and I'm watching this movie. And what's in the movie? Get your dad's strap. Get your dad's belt. She says in the movie. I'm like, oh my God, MJF all over again.
Multiple strappings for you in a week.
Her strap was way better than Wimpy MJF's strap. I'll tell you that.
Well,
that
he couldn't use his belt. It was
awesome
too nice.
Belt. No,
he had to use Cody's belt.
This belt was probably on the movie I'm talking about. That belt was about 4 inches wide, at least. Yeah, with a brass buckle, a huge brass buckle. Now, of course, they didn't use the brass buckle, but I think that would have been good for Cody. Would have been more damage. He would have really been crying.
That was a big kitty landing on the table from his tower.
I thought the whole thing should have been a cat of nine tails. That would have been more interesting.
Well, I mean, it would have been optimum effectiveness for strapping.
It would have been. Or, like olden days, or when you're in the middle of the town square, and they have your arms hanging from a post, kind of thing. There could have been all sorts of better ways to do this.
Yeah, I didn't really think it through. Those dumb bad guys.
I mean, if you're gonna do it good. Make it happen.
Although when they got to the Wardlow hit, that's the one that got me in.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is if Cody can't take 10 lashes, then he doesn't get his match at Revolution.
But in order to do that, he still has to, in order to have a match with MJF, Cody still has to fight Wardlow and win in order to get the match against MJF.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of drama that was unfolding upon each strapping. So first Arn Anderson comes out, coach. He's back. I guess his suspension's up from the ref bump. He's like, don't give him the satisfaction. Then Dustin Rhodes comes out, Cody's brother. He offers to take the strapping for him. But it doesn't work that way, says MJF. And then the Young Bucks come out. They're urging him on. And finally,
Cody's wife,
Brandy comes out. Therapy woman.
Right.
And she seems to, I don't know what they're going to do with the story-wise with her character turn. Maybe therapy and seeing Cody getting the strapping. Knock some sense into her. Who knows what they do with this?
Maybe they should have strapped her too.
Oh, no. Whack! I'm cured!
I'll strap some sense into you. Get over it.
Yeah. So, he takes all 10. MJF's all upset. Lots of emotion involved. The crowd's cheering him on while I'm watching this with you, and you're just like, get up, you baby.
Well, he hardly hit him.
Oh, he left the marks.
He hardly hit him for the first 3.
The marks were left.
They hardly hit him. I think it would have been more effective if he was hanging from a pole or something.
Handcuff him to the ring post. Really get him.
Exactly. Well,
the Wardlow hit, I swear, drew blood. And that one, echoed through the arena. So that really got me anticipated for the cage match. That's next week.
Well, maybe this will build Cody up some character and backbone instead of being the wimp that he always is. That maybe this strapping is something that he actually needed to wake up and, actually get some of his fight back in him, because he's been pretty wimpy this whole time. And, I'm surprised I didn't see any tears come out of that baby face of his.
Well, he was crying. He did have tears in his eyes.
I didn't see any tears. I just saw a wannabe to his wife wannabe. Feel sorry for me. Good God. Suck it up. Be a man. Get ready for the fight, the Wardlow. And that's why I say, the match before, the 2 weeks ago match, he didn't look like he was ready. I think this strapping was actually something good for him to get some fight in him. And I see him beating Wardlow in the cage match because he wants blood now because of this strapping. I think it was MJF did him a favor, actually.
Well, once the 10 were up,
not a nice way to do it, but I think it might have put something fueled the fire in Cody that's been pretty dormant for a while. So I think it was a good thing, not a pretty thing, but I don't, I'm not a fan of it. But I think that in the end, it'll prove to be a good thing for him to have happened. So MJF did him a favor.
Well, upon that 10th hit...
JD goes silent.
Well, no, I had a person from work calling. I'm like, well, I'm not there, so... yeah. Anyways, the 10th hit, the 10th strap was made...
the phone while I am speaking? How
No,
rude.
I got a phone call.
What are you going to do? Answer it? Oh, hold on.
No,
hold on.
I didn't.
I got to answer this phone.
I didn't. Anyways, MJF gets the 10th one. He's all upset. He kicks Cody in the balls and bolts him and Wardlow. They go up the ramp.
Well, MJF's
supposedly a fan jumped him or something.
And you saw it, and I was like, it was so quick when they showed it that I couldn't tell if the guy had come from the side from the audience or if it actually was someone who was behind the camera who ended up getting up behind him and then pushing him forward to get him out of that situation. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah. So we before we move on to the next thing, we didn't mention we were watching, I guess, the Fight TV feed for this episode, and before the Britt Baker Yuka Sakazaki match, Britt Baker cut a promo to the crowd making fun of everybody, and it was absolutely hilarious.
It was good.
Remember, she's saying she could pay off all her student loans with the terrible teeth the front row had. She looks around, there's like a heckler getting her, and she goes, no, I will accept you into my office. I'll even give you a discount. I don't know if I'll accept your insurance, but we can, I'll get you. It was actually good. And then she goes, well, we're coming back from commercial. I got to take my jacket off. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, right.
It was really funny. So we got the SCU retitle match against Paige and Omega coming up next week. Nyla Rose taking on Riho. Hopefully Riho retains against the Native Beast.
Oh, God. Well, of course she will. It's the Native Beast. Yeah, she ain't going to lose to that.
Well, I don't know. Anything could happen. We have Wardlow, Cody, and the Steel Cage in 2 weeks. And in 3 weeks, we have Pac and Omega in a 30-minute Iron Man match. And then we have Revolution in Chicago. So, pretty cool.
Lots coming up.
Yeah. Lots of advertised matches coming up that we have a lot to look forward to.
Lots of good times. Yep.
And then I will say, so we're gonna break here. I got some other stuff to talk about, and then when you come back, Mom, we're gonna talk Dragon Gate, and that will lead into your favorite matches and your favorite wrestlers. Okay. All right. So we'll be back.
All right.
Yes, thank you, Mayu Iwatani, for taking us into the Joshi War, Ice Ribbon versus Stardom. Starting off with Stardom here today, we are going post 9th anniversary at Korakuen. We're heading into 9th anniversary in Osaka. Okay, so January 26th in Osaka, there were 2 matches, so we're just going to kind of go down the more important storylines here, where I think it might be heading, and what I thought of the matches. So January 26th, we saw Jamie Hayter take on Utami Hayashishita for the SWA title. A title I don't think has been defended since July of last year, but here it is. The ongoing feud of Utami and Jamie Hayter continues here. They seem to have their lifelong feud. They're going to be feuds forever, or rivals forever. Match goes 15.5 minutes, and young, naive Utami pre-match promo, thinks B went to Oedo Tai because of Jamie Hayter. Still thinks she can win this match, and with the win, she can then bring B Priestley back to Queen's Quest. Oh, so naive. So much to learn. Meanwhile, B Priestley comes out with Jamie Hayter during her entrance, which, by the way, huge props to B's new green and black checkered gear. I have words to say over that gear later. The match itself, though, while it went 15 minutes, nothing really clicked there. Nothing really got the adrenaline pumping. Hayter wins via the Ushigoroshi, so that move's going around quite a lot these days. And then it followed a hard clothesline, kind of mimicking Ospreay's hidden blade of all things. So Jamie Hayter is now champ, SWA and Goddess champ. 2 belts, however moniker you want to use it. I'm stealing that from Jamie Hayter. She went into a kind of a spiel about that. And to Oedo Tai's much pleasure. So, there you go. Jamie Hayter wins the SWA title. And then we have Kagetsu's last Stardom match. She's teaming with Mayu Iwatani, taking on hand-picked opponents Jungle Kyona and Momo Watanabe. Match goes just under 20 minutes. It went over the 15-minute mark, so it has the makings of a good timed women's match. It didn't go the 20 minutes, and this climaxed at the right time. Mayu and Kagetsu are dressed by combining their gear, kind of split 50-50, including their masks and music, so nice touch there. Quite like that. And what a match this was. It felt like faction warfare with mixed signals of cooperation. So for example, there's a moment at the beginning where Mayu's kind of on the ropes, so to say. And then, as I believe it was Jungle Kyona is starting to run it, Oedo Tai trips her, and then Kagetsu's clapping, and Mayu's like, what happened? I'm like, well, Oedo Tai helped us out. That's what happened. So it was good. It had a lot of comedy to it. Everybody getting all of Kagetsu's greatest hits in to make a celebration of her wrestling and style, so to say. And the finish was awesome. Kagetsu and Mayu clearly just having a blast. Mayu pulls off an outsider's edge of all things, which I didn't realize this until now upon reading my notes back, that she was actually preparing in a way for her title defense against Iroha, because she had just learned the running 3. So there's something to think about there. So yeah, she pulls off an outsider's edge, taking, I believe it was Momo, from one corner to the other as Kagetsu was on top of it, and then when she landed and pulls her, she goes, no, you gotta go the other one now. I threw her over there. Kagetsu's like, God. Okay, fine. I'll go over there now. Hits the 450, broken up. So everyone got their big moves in. It was broken up. And then, to my absolute pleasure, just 5 stars, Jungle Kyona destroys the last of Stardom's Kagetsu, hitting a big-ass fucking powerbomb. Kicks out. Picks her up for another powerbomb. She fights out of it, but no. Jungle Kyona just fucking plants her on her neck. Just, Hiromu style. Like, I don't care about your neck. Get out of here. It was almost like Ibushi's version of the Peach Sunrise that Momo uses. Just crushes her, but doesn't pin her. Just picks her right back up, deadlift, into the spinning powerbomb. Mayu breaks that up. And then finally, we finish this amazing tag match off with the deadly Kaniku Buster to get the pin win. Jungle Kyona over Kagetsu. This match delivered on so many levels. It's a must-watch. And then the post-match promo, Kyona cuts, vowing to use this win and gain momentum to challenge Mayu for the red belt, the world title, assuming she still has it post-Korakuen Hall. And then Mayu makes note of that. Well, I mean, it's bold of you to challenge me for the title when I have a title defense up. So if I win that, hey, come challenge me again. Obviously, it's going to happen. I don't think anyone doubted that Mayu was going to lose to Sari. And then, as it turns out, due to illness, this match would have been changed. So, and then there was all the post-retirement goodbyes to Kagetsu. Very nice. The Oedo Tai one, they gave her the sign saying they They said it was too heavy to carry for themselves. I quite like that line. Momo, bawling her eyes out again. Kagetsu then recognizes that she's always wanted to team with Mayu. Excuse me. And Mayu says this was the most fun she's had tagging, so just burying Saki Kashima. Nice little cut on the side there. If that was on purpose, I don't know, but that's how I interpreted it. I loved it. Ugh, just jab that Saki symbolism in there. And then Kagetsu just says it was getting way too hard to be at the top and maintain being at the top when Jungle Kiona and Momo are just raising the bar each time, and how hungry they are. So clearly they are not leaving the top of Stardom. Quite liked it. So go out of your way to watch this. This was a good going away match. I actually will say this. The Kagetsu Mayu and the Kiona Momo, I think, did more to tell a better goodbye story and passing the torch in some ways than the Liger retirement match against Hiromu and Dragon Lee. Really, now. As I am getting a lot of messages right now. What's going on here? Got a bunch. Here we go. Let's see here. Never mind. Not important. So, that'll take us into the February 8th show, the Way to Major League at Korakuen Hall. The very show Jay from the SmackDown podcast went and saw live. And unfortunately, due to illness, the main event was changed from Sari to Marvelous's Takumi Iroha. A match we spoke about on this podcast a couple years ago, where it went to a draw. We'll get into that in a second. So, last minute change there. We're going to skip straight towards the Artist of Stardom title #1 contendership match. That's Oedo Tai, Natsukatora, Natsusumire, and Saki Kashima defeating the Tokyo Cyber Squad trio, Hana, Jungle, and Konami in just 10 minutes. Interesting enough, so pre-match promo shows Tora now looks like a mini Yoshiko. No idea why. It's very weird to me. And then Natsu and Saki are just hamming it up as degenerates, anticipating their win and going on to be the next trio title challengers. Saki more and more is just embracing her Yankee self. She's just sounding more and more like someone out of the anime Bebop High School. She's even still dressing like Natsu in many ways, so she's embracing the degenerate that she is, and Natsu's just loving every minute of it, so good for that. Then we get Tokyo Cyber Squad, and they're being very strange. Hana's giggling uncontrollably, just not taking the match seriously. A little house show she called Saki, I guess like a bean sprout, and saying she's weak and all this. So she's just not interested in Saki, just no competition at all. And then Kiona's grabbing her hair. She's just saying the words Iwatani Mayu over and over again. Konami looks in the camera. She's looking at them. She's like, it's going to be fine, right? Just knowing that it's not going to go well. So Oedo Tai come out to a new rendition of their music. They got new gear. They're dressed as I can describe as a Tokyo Samurai Victoria Age police officer. The three of them. Match starts with Saki and Hana. I got great pleasure from Hana literally laughing off Saki in her offense. Got a kick out of that. But at the end of the day, pains me to say this as I repeat these words, Saki, Yankee Kashima, pins via revival Konami to a totally beflummoxed Hana Kimura. The face Hana makes just, it was like a punch to my heart. The shock that was left on her, just they need to go back and think things over. So now there's a real story here brewing between TCS's Hana and the rest of Oedo Tai, specifically Saki Kashima. My, how history repeats. Hana and Oedo Tai. Story will never end, I guess. So clearly, Oedo Tai here is going for those artist titles. Tokyo Cyber Squad needs to figure things out as a unit. Jungle Kiona is so overly focused on her title match, hopefully in the future against Mayu. We'll see what happens. And speaking of the Artist of Stardom titles, we got Donna Del Mundo, Julia, Maika, and Shuri Kondo, defeating Queen's Quest, the Ultimate Trio, Azumi, Momo, and Utami. 17-minute match for a title change. And here we have kind of we're noticing a more foreshadowing in these promos now, more so now than ever. You can kind of pick them apart post promo generally, but now going into it, I'm like really paying attention. Julie and company want to make a mark while QQ makes fun of them for being old, and they're cracking jokes, calling them Donna del Voldemort, the unit that must not be named. So here we go again. The challenge, or the contenders, the main contenders, the favorites, taking their challengers lightly. Momo and Shuri had a match who could kick better. That was fun. Utami and Maika continued their judo battle from JTO. So that means the odd battle out was the super newfound charisma star Julia versus Azumi's new purple hair extensions. The fun new extensions proved no match against Julia and the MMA girls as she nails her pump handle Steiner driver, killing Azumi, I'm pretty sure she died, with her purple hair extensions, taking the artist titles. Post-match, Julia totally ignores Oedo Tai as they're standing out in the crowd, and she revels in victory. Oedo Tai not happy with being ignored, especially Saki as she flips him the bird. This moves on to our Wonder of Stardom title match. Arisa Hoshiki defeating the newly, I wouldn't even call it a heel turn, it was just a turn. Bea Priestley. She was heel before, and now she's goofy heel Bea Priestley. 16 minutes, 52 seconds. A really good time this match went. Priestley cuts her usual rough, staggered, delivered promo, basically saying she will copy Hater and be champ, while Arisa simply says she is going for V10, aka 10th defense of the white belt. Now we must further talk about Bea Priestley and her new look, shall we say. She's like a 90s take on a 50s diners chick, sporting a spiky leather jacket with Macho Man tassels. She's got green on her left side, and black and white checkers on her right side. Half pants with cross netting, new hand symbol doing the reverse German 3, green hair tie, and these wacky single-brilled black sunbrills to tie it all together, and she's got pigtails. So, if you can picture that, it's quite something. It is fabulous, to say the least. It is a great new look. She's not a fan of the entrance music, so it's very close, putting it all together. But as for the match itself, Bea gets a quick jump on Arisa and then tries to pull the El Fantasmo rope walk, but Dick Arisa over here just ruins the fun, just kicks her off. So now the story of the match was great. Priestley was playing the first round counter game. Just every offensive move Arisa went for was countered. Shining Impact, missed. Corner kicked, dodged. Shining Ozcutter, German suplexed off the rope. You're not putting Ospreay's moves over on Bea Priestley. So, very glorious. The only issue I had was no matter how much damage Bea inflicted to Arisa's back and leg, she sold none of this. Meanwhile, on the other end, Bea Priestley sold the shit out of every move, right? Which emphasized it in a lot of ways, because once Arisa finally connected in the third round of this fight with her main moves, which were countered or missed, Bea Priestley sold this like she was shot out of a cannon. Like that knee Arisa hit at the end of the match, and Arisa said herself her knee was harder, right? Just bang, over, right? So, Arisa finally connected in the third round of this fight. The finish came real quick after Arisa rolled out of a Queen's Landing, and this was that turning point. Caught Bea with a Kamagoye, right? No, caught Bea's Kamagoye, because Bea was kind of trying to channel Ibushi here. Caught it. Arisa said her knee was harder. Bam! Big V-trigger hit. Goes straight into a Brazilian kick, and then finishes off with the Shining Impact. Very good match here. just wish there was a lot more selling from Arisa. In that beginning of the match would have gone and flowed a lot better for Arisa. So, not the best defense of V10 here, but a high caliber match nonetheless. Then we got our main event, Takumi Iroha defeating Mayu Iwatani in a 20-minute, 49-second murder. Yeah, I'll say it. It was a murder. So before this match started, with their history, I thought for sure this was going time limit draw. Whether it was 20 minutes, 30 minutes, wasn't exactly clear. So the later this match went, I'm like, man, I'm just waiting for that ring bell to be bing, bing. Time limit draw, bummer, maybe you'll meet again 2 years, right? Situation. Well, Takumi, ace and now head of Marvelous, kicks Mayu's ass. She darts her head first into a post, and it's also important to note that Mayu's entire right shoulder is all taped up, and Takumi sees this as nothing but the biggest target in the world. She not only beats her ass, but also breaks Mayu apart limb for limb, goes for heel hooks, but always ending up on that shoulder, right? First 10 minutes, I swear Mayu had 60 seconds of offense. I'm not exaggerating with that. Takumi at one point does this deadlift German right onto Mayu's rubber neck. So big oof there, but it's okay. She's made out of rubber. She's fine. Takumi then finally goes for the kill with the border toss, aka the newly learned move from Chigusa Nagayo, the running 3. So it's a border toss, but she holds it for a big power bomb off the shoulder. So it looks just like the deadliest thing you can imagine. This is when Mayu reverses it, and it's all she needed to gain momentum back, making this into, a match for the first time. So this really is where it pulled you in. Mayu pulls out all the stops, hitting her moonsault. She also then goes for the running 3, but that's reversed. And that was the end for Mayu. How dare you try to hit the move that Nagayo passed on to Iroha. And just like that, Takumi goes on a tear, kills Mayu with many, many kicks, power bombs, finally culminating in hitting the running 3 for the pin at 20 minutes 49 seconds. Wow. Exhausted Mayu cuts a promo that only Mayu can do. It's a Mayu promo, as best described. And of course, wants to fight again. Fight next time for the title. And just as Takumi agrees, Saki and Oedo Tai hit the ring to beat her ass. Saki is tired of being ignored by Mayu, and being snubbed by her earlier in the night was clearly the crossing of the line point. Mayu isn't interested in her, though. I'm not interested in you, she says. And Saki goes, but I'm interested in you. Mayu thanks her for her love and affection, but then ignores her. Saki's just all mad. Vows to beat her down until she gets what she wants, then attacks her, and interestingly enough, Takumi stops it. Stands in between, fending off Oedo Tai. Mayu grabs a mic. Takumi even did the whole stands in between, arms out, I will protect her. Crowd loved it. All chanting for Takumi. Mayu gets a mic and she just goes, Kakoi, you're so damn cool, Takumi. I'm impressed. It was great. They get back to business, tease more Marvelous and Stardom in the future, which is pretty cool, and a future title match against Takumi. Well, hot damn. I still think the Momo defense was a better match, and the story of the match was better, and it led to a fantastic couple promos from the two. So in that aspect, I think that was still way better. But if we're going to get a second match in 2020 of Takumi and Mayu, then that would be match of the year, Stardom contender. Get that feud in, right? So as a match-to-match basis, I think Momo was still better. Takumi and Mayu still have the easier makings to make it better. So the making of the feud and the better overall story there. So all in all, great show. What a show. So whom do I think will take the title off Arisa if not be here, since it wasn't. The story has all the indications going forward that it's going to be Tam Nakano, and now that her beloved P-chan via Twitter has been eaten by Pochi, or Penta? Kagetsu's dog, I believe that's Penta, ate her, and Tam saying, do not forgive me, so clearly she's going to murder somebody. Could be Arisa, just wrong place, wrong time, and we'll take her title. Now, as a betting man, if I'm not taking a story into account, and I was just to be taking kind of a, who do they want to build more for the future and get their first big singles title win, my money would be on Julia or Hana Kimura, and kind of who comes out of that feud culminates in winning the white belt. Now, could that take more time for one of them to get there? Could they beat Tam Nakano for the title? Very possible, right? Tom gets 2 defenses in, whatever the number might be. But those are the 3 names I would put my money on. Tam first for the story, for the whole marketing, who they want to push forward, and whom has the most momentum. That would probably be Julia and Hana. So take that. Now, who's going to beat Mayu for the title? As much as I believe Jungle Kyona is going to Kaneko Buster the shit out of Mayu, the problem with that is Mayu has a rubber neck. And the Kaneko Buster, the move she beat Kagetsu with, will be ineffective against Mayu. You can't beat someone with a neck move whom is made of rubber. There's the flaw. There's no way Jungle Kyona can beat Mayu with that kind of move mentality. So it's not going to be Jungle, unfortunately. As much as I would love it, I'm going to see Momo and Jungle lose back-to-back to Red Belt Mayu. I'm just devastated just realizing the ineffectiveness that Jungle Kyona is going to suffer when she loses to Mayu Iwatani. I think Mayu's going to hold this title until she loses it to Arisa. When Arisa loses the white belt, I really in my head only see in this current landscape Arisa taking the title off Mayu and getting the whole Stars connection there. Now, if we're taking out of account the whole interpromotional politics of it all, with the story that was told tonight, Takumi would be the one to take the belt off Mayu. But being that she's marvelous and in charge there and has that role to play, not going to happen. So, Mayu did allude to the fact that, tease the fact that she wants to beat her, and if she has to do that in a trios match, she will do it. So, could be something along that. Probably a higher chance. So those are my thoughts. Now move on to Ice Ribbon. Here we go. Oh, no WXW, obviously. The Road 2 show came out this week here, so I gotta watch that. So I will reserve my AEW versus WXW thoughts for the end of the month, after I've watched that. So, anyways. Where is my Fujimoto drop? Gotta find it. I always have trouble finding these. Maybe I need to... There it is. It's titled Ice Ribbon. Jesus. Alright, this will be probably the shortest Ice Ribbon review recap that I've ever done. Just nothing's developing, and I'm very, very sad with Ice Ribbon. Ice Ribbon, I had to scour both shows online in shady places to see these, as they were not on Nico Pro. So that sucked. They haven't had a show since the 4th on Nico Pro, unfortunately. So anyways, 10:21 in Nagoya, singles match. Shuri defeats Satsuki Totoro in 8:42. So it seems Shuri is still in Ice Ribbon's future for the time being, so maybe she will get her title shot in time, but not much else to report there. There was a Triangle Ribbon title match of Tei Honma defeating Matsuyu Uno and Miku Aono in 7:58. Match didn't go very long. It wasn't all that's cracked up to be. Teihonma retains. I guess that's a positive there. And then we had my much-anticipated CMLL duo taking on Fujimoto and Tsukushi for the tag titles. But unfortunately, this match only went 10 minutes. It never really got going. La Jarochita, as a commanding force as she is, she never really looked anything more than that in the match, while Dallas La Caribena wasn't very good. So, unfortunately, match wasn't great. Very skippable. Tsukushi being dick heel is great. I like that. And because she's so tiny and so much smaller than everybody, it just comes across as like a Maki Ito type situation. It's great. And then 1022 in Saitama took place on February 6th, Japan National Twin Tail Day, aka Pigtails. So all the wrestlers had their twin tails on, and at the end of the day, the only match worth really looking at is the tag match main event, which was Akane Fujita and Tsukasa Fujimoto. So not Akane's previous tag partner, the rookie. Her name's eluding me right now. I think it's Sayo, whatever. Defeats Uno and Maya Yukihi. So Fujita pins Uno via the Michinoku driver, and then the challenge is set for Maya on February 24th at the Reborn show. So, the veteran gets the title shot at Maya, has a victory not over Maya herself, but the team. At least it set a challenger forward. Fujita's not winning this match. You can't hype this match up. Fujita, even if she's a veteran, she's just not up to caliber. So this is another incident. This is another instance of just no strong challengers being made for Maya. It's kind of an All Japan situation, right? Where no matter whom they try to build up or whom is there for the future, no one's on Miyahara's level, right? And at least in Ice Ribbon's case, I never know when the match is going to end, and I can kind of break it down towards, okay, this is a possibility for the future. In All Japan's case, every match has to go like 30 minutes, and I'm not into it until like minute 27 situation. So, yeah, there you go. Easy win for Stardom, I think, in the Joshi War. As much as I like Ice Ribbon, those shows just do not compare to that January 26th Osaka and the 9th anniversary or the way to Major League at Corkin Hall. Just no way. So let's mark that down here as I give a win to Stardom. So that makes it now 2-1 in favor of Stardom. Time to play the next drop and get into New Japan. A lot to break down there. Naito, where are you at? Alright, Naito, really breaking down. New Beginnings Tour. Puro Wrestling War. Here, New Japan New Beginnings. Sapporo, Day 1, February 1st. My favorite tag match. Now, there was the Trios title match. It was a Trios title match. I love Shingo Takagi and the Gatoh combination that never gets old. But the actual tag match I enjoyed a lot more was the Robbie Eagles and Ryu Lee defeating LIJ, Bushi, and Hiromu. That match went just under 12 minutes. Robbie Eagles is really impressing me. He looks like a junior for the future, and he's getting wins here, so cool. There was the special singles match of Ishii defeating Evil, and this Sapporo Day 1 was the Battle of the Thick Boys, right? Something I've been really into with the New Japan Retro watching, right? Just really cool stuff here. It's a lot to take in. Evil, unfortunately, just doesn't grab me in his matches. He just does. It's like it's the same moniker routine that he does match in and match out. And whom brought this match together was Ishii, so it shouldn't be a surprise. They pulled it all together. It was 21 minutes. It was a good amount of time. Ishii's the right guy to win. And then we get into the never openweight title match of super thick boy. I'm going to clothesline the piss out of you. Shingo Takagi defeats Hiroki Goto in 20 minutes. Holy shit, I love this match. Shingo Takagi is easily my favorite wrestler in New Japan. No one even comes close. What he's able to do with his facial expressions, how hard he's able to make his hits look without actually like hurting a guy, seeing the sweat fly, his moniker of charisma just comes across as superstar, right? If this guy is an IWGP champion within the next 2 years, that's a miss. That's a big miss in my mind, right? And him defeating Goto to become the new never openweight champion, it's like I fucking called it. Goto outside of the dome? What a loser, am I right, boys? You can look at my Twitter, you can see the proof, how much I'm right about all this. The second he won that title, he fucking lost it to the better Shingo Takagi. And Shingo just crushed this dude with Made in Japan. Oh, it was great. Just lifts this dude up, turns him over. Man after my own heart, 20 minutes. Beautiful match, top 10 of the year right here. It's gorgeous. We'll move on to Sapporo Day 2, February 2nd. Toa Hanare defeats Yota Tsuji, 8 minutes. Hey, it's a good, solid, fundamental match. I recommend it. That's why I'm talking about it. El Phantasmo defeats jacked up, looking way better in the wrestling ring, former Defiant wrestler Gabriel Kidd, 8 minutes 50 seconds. El Phantasmo being a dick, but the big story here was how much Gabriel Kidd has improved since his Rev Pro and Defiant days. Just great. Then we had Chaos, that's Goto, Eagles, and Ishii, versus LIJ, that's Bushi, Evil, and Shingo, 942. Eagles gets yet another win here, solidifying him basically for a future junior title match, which I think is a great little move there. He's getting all these wins for his teams. He's gained his momentum, and he's slowly being brought up a level above a lot of these other guys. They could have easily had Ishii or Goto win this match, but no, they got the junior to win, so there you go. My mom and I spoke Moxley Suzuki. They continued to battle, this time starting in the crowd during Moxley's entrance, while the whole thing, while a match was trying to be taking place in the ring, it was just looking at Moxley and Suzuki just going at it. It's great. There's even a moment where Moxley like revs up his arm like he's gonna punch him with a big lawnmower arm, but then he just kind of bites him or pokes him in the eye or whatever it was. So the Rev Pro undisputed British heavyweight title was on the line. I'm gonna have to take a break here after New Japan. Really getting my throat going here. Zack Sabre Jr. defeats William Ospreay via referee's decision. 27-minute match, and it felt like a 13-minute match. This is what I love about Zack Sabre Jr. matches. Whenever he's involved, whomever he's involved with, you know you're getting a vastly different match. Kind of like when I watch Shingo. I know I'm going to get a Dragon Gate fast as fuck heavyweight. Throwing those lariats and doing power moves that a junior heavyweight is doing, right? It's just awesome. In this case, they're trying to tell the story of Ospreay's British heavyweight Rev Pro title, always eluding him, and Zack is the quintessential guy. So they say they in hindsight, they saved the title switch for the UK, for the Rev Pro crowd. Whether that match was good, I'm not really interested in it. If it goes up on New Japan, I might watch it. What I'm more interested in was this match here, where Zack, his whole job was to ground Ospreay. And much like I believe it was their G1 match, which went shorter, but it was just awesome seeing Ospreay do catch wrestling mixed in with the British wrestling style and trying to hit his lucha moves, in which inevitably Zack Sabre Jr. would catch his ass and just lock him in. I love the dynamic of it. It worked so well. I think I actually like this match more than Takagi Goto, even though I liked Takagi's performance more, if that makes sense. This match itself was great. I love the finish of Zack just catching his ass again, putting him in the octopus, and Ospreay doesn't tap out, but he wasn't able to go anywhere, and the referee just goes, gotta call for the bell, man. Loved it. Because then, in a sense, with just another singles tag victory over Zack, he gets a rematch, right? Because even though Zack was able to put him away, it wasn't a true quote-unquote tap-out submission. And then I don't have a lot to say over this main event here. It's Okada Taichi in Sapporo, so crowd loves Taichi. It went 30 fucking minutes and 53 fucking seconds. Battle of the Pants had a lot of promise to it. There was no way this should have been the main event. It should have been Sabre Ospreay. They should have flip-flopped and then cut Okada Taichi in half easily. The story of Okada's neck being busted up and sore and Taichi aiming for it, it's all well and good. Okada sold it like $1 million. That part was great. What killed it was the length. And Taichi going this long has no business. Why it takes Okada to beat Taichi after 30 minutes. It's kind of like the argument with Zack Sabre Jr. against Yoshihashi. Why did it take him 20 minutes to beat Yoshihashi? And at least in post interviews, Zack just goes, it was just a warm-up. But he's a heel, and he almost got the best of it. You know, you can kind of roll with that. But instead, we just got Okada just going, yeah, you really took it to me, Taichi. So, I didn't like this match at all. It was really slow. It falls into a lot of the problem of Japanese matches. If you're in a main event, it has to be long. It has to be 30 minutes. It has to be 26 plus minutes. I don't like that. And this match had no business being there. Yes, Okada sold like $1 million, but he just beat Taichi in the end. Not a fan. And then we had New Beginning in Osaka, February 9th, my birthday. Jay White defeats Sonata in a 21-minute match. Again, go to my Twitter, RedLeafRetrocast by @BowlingJD. Sonata is a big fat loser. Even commentary is really harping down the story of Sonata's in a slump, in a single slump. He hasn't won since his G1 match last year against, I believe it was Lance Archer. I believe that's right. And Jay White already has the title shot going forward with his second day Tokyo Dome victory. Did this match need to happen? I don't think so. They could have had a banger of a tag match, story being told, of Sonata and Evil with Jay White and someone. They just have a banger of a match, right? That's what they could have done. And then you could have given Sonata the win over either Jay White's partner or even Jay White himself. And then you can build up to maybe that shot being on the line down the road. But 21 minutes, 52 seconds. Jay White, he procrastinated forever to start off the match. He did a Jay White thing. There was interference. And then he just beat Sonata basically clean. It was just a cementing victory for Jay White. So I like Jay White being strong. I like Jay White matches. The booking of this really has me questioning a lot of things. Hiromu Takahashi defeats Ryu Lee in 23 minutes, 54 seconds. My second favorite and best match of New Japan of 2020. Yes, I'm putting this over the Moxley-Suzuki match because this match blew my goddamn mind. For the first, 10 minutes of it, they just chopped the shit out of each other. Like a Kabashi Misawa match. But they just ramped it up to only what Ryu Lee and Hiromu Takahashi could do. They battered and bruised and bloodied each other on their chest, leading into all of their Lucha Junior Heavyweight maneuvers. Ryu Lee props up Takahashi on a table over a guardrail and does his dart suicide, in which they just collide and roll over the desk onto their heads and necks. Oh my god. Nothing in the match looked particularly like they were going to kill each other, but they teased they were going to kill each other time and time again, even mimicking the Phoenix Plex and making the crowd just go nuts just for teasing it. There was a battle with the stupid Trio Woe spot where the guy's hanging upside down and he grabs the ropes, but they were battling on the top, and as they'd fall, they'd catch themselves and then pull themselves back up. So match ends with Hiromu going over via the time bomb. Just a sick match. I can't speak highly of it enough. It was fantastic. Go see it. It's my number 2 rated New Japan match of the year so far. And I believe number 3 is Moxley Suzuki, which I spoke with my mom about at the top of the cast right before AEW. And then, again, not much to say. Naito defeats Kenta in a 35-minute, 50-second match. I actually had to take a break halfway through because I was bored. I love Kenta matches, but what I don't love is these drawn-out 26-plus minute marathons. Okay? Naito Okada had the story to justify the marathon. This is really falling into the trap of long for the sake of being long. And for the first about 5 to 10 minutes of it, it was Kenta stalling. And then it was Naito stalling. And then they just won't come to blows. The story was them not coming to blows, but that made it boring to me. Just didn't get into it. This was supposed to be a guy pissed off at the other for ruining his victory party at the biggest show of the year in New Japan. So they stall. Then they get into it, and it just didn't feel like it lived up to the level. Like I got into the match, right? And I got into it way more in the last 4 minutes of it. Especially when Naito drew blood coming off the exposed turnbuckle. There was just a lot of teasing, and until that interference of the last 7 minutes, when Jay White rolled down, there was a ref bump. Kenta throws Naito into the ref is down, and when Jay White came out to try to steal the win for Kenta, and that led to Bushi coming out, missing the mist, White laying him out like a geek, like a nerd, and then Hiromu coming out and putting the stop to Jay White. Maybe that possibly leads to Hiromu Jay White down the road. I would love that. That would be something I would very much look forward to. Jay White's not a junior heavyweight. Maybe we could get some story with Hiromu losing there, but nonetheless, that created a great babyface comeback for Naito, because Kenta got all his offense in. The Psycho knee. He never hit the GTS. He hit a lot of his Kenta signature maneuvers. Got near falls that really brought you in. And then he hits Naito over the head with the exposed turnbuckle, and Naito just explodes like Eddie Guerrero at Judgment Day. Just going nuts, and upon that blood gushing down his face like the crimson mask he was wearing, the crowd just explodes into it. They're really behind Naito. This was the saving moment of the match, even for me, because the interference I was totally okay with. It finally brought something to the match, but the blood being exposed on that turnbuckle for Naito really got me behind it, brought me in for that last 4 minutes, and Naito hits Destino, I believe, after Victoria, and he's double champion. Hiromu comes out, accepts the challenge C, or offers the challenge, so they're doing, at the end of the month here, junior champ versus the heavyweight champ kind of tradition. And that's New Japan. Who the next challenger is after Hiromu, because Naito said he would give him the title even if New Japan wouldn't recognize it. Who's next? I mean, Jay White, we know, has the shot, and he beat Sonata. A lot of the big heavy hitters are busy currently. So I guess we'll see. The only person that comes to my mind is Jay White right now. Tanahashi and Ibushi have dibs at the tag title, so they're out. I'm not sure. Guess we'll see. And with that, we'll go into Dragon Gate. I'm taking a break here to rest my voice. When you hear from me again, you will hear that New Japan has won. A little spoiler there. This time around, as much as I liked the Dragon Gate show, I liked what New Japan brought as a whole across the week much better. So 1-1 New Japan Dragon Gate. On to Dragon Gate with my mom. and then it'll be the retro section of the podcast. So I'll see you back.
R-E-T.
All right, Mother, we're back for your last segment of the show.
I'm back.
Yes, I'm very happy you're here. We watched the Dragon Gate show, your February wrestling promotion we're watching.
We did, and I learned something.
What did you learn?
I'll never be able to say all the names.
There's a mouthful for a lot of them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you watched Truthgate 2020 as Kitty jumps on the table. It has not stopped since I've gotten home. And in this podcast recording.
Oh my
He's been
God.
bad. Yeah, Truthgate at Cork and Hall, Dragon Gate, February 7th. So, why don't you take me through your thoughts on the show as a whole? What was your impressions? How does it compare to New Japan?
As a whole, I liked it better than the women's wrestling kind of thing from Japan.
Mm-hmm. Stardom from December, yep.
Yeah. I prefer the men's. This was good. This was better than that one that the angle of the camera drove me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What was that one? I don't have my notes.
Are you talking about the Stardom show in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one Japan program, is that Stardom, where I just couldn't stand the angle.
Yeah, that was Stardom.
Yeah. I didn't like that one. This one I liked better.
It's a very much more simplistic camera that the Dragon Gate promotion shoots, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Much more traditional.
Yeah. It's a lot of mass.
The thing about Dragon Gate is they have a lot of luchador
people. Definitely a lot more people watching Dragon Gate. There's a much larger audience, I think.
So this show drew about 1,600 people inside the building.
1,600 or 16,000?
1,600.
1,600.
Cork and Hall is not that big. The Stardom show actually in January drew 1,600 as well, I believe.
Okay, so they're kind of even in that regard, huh? Okay,
that's about as much the stadium or the arena holds. So
yeah.
So, just match by match, we'll just, I don't have a whole lot to say over the show other than the last two matches, so we'll just get your thoughts over it, make this nice, short, and sweet. What do you say?
Hey, that works for me. I like short and
Kitty
sweet.
is on the table again, going crazy. Get Kitty. Okay, they had the dark tag match, Ho-Ho Loon and Super Shisha defeat Martin Kirby and Michael Sue. So, a lot of Chinese, Hong Kong natives on this show, which was quite interesting to me.
Oh, you're talking about the tryout match.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
See, and you had to explain everything to me because this was my first Dragon Gate, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, watching the tryout match, I thought it was kind of cool that I'm hearing this noise outside. Weird. That you have new people coming out, and they're, it's a tryout match, and I thought that was kind of cool. I think AEW should do that.
Like some local indie talent comes in for an opening match every now and again, or they show it on Dark.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, I think that would be cool to, for people to be introduced to newbies and see how they do, and watch them as they grow. If they stay in, I think it would be interesting. to see that.
So Ho-Ho Loon and Super Shisha got the win in 4 minutes. That was followed by a trios match. Team Dragon Gate versus the makeshift team Gamma, Kento Kobune, and Taketo Kame. The Dragon Gate team consisted of Benkei, Jason Lee, and Mondai Ryu. So Benkei, the ex-champion, who just went on like a 6-month run, in technically the first opening match of the show, which is quite interesting.
I thought this match had some good moves. The Benkei on Kabuni was good. Thought it was... the other thing that I found interesting is how organized the tagging was. It just seemed to flow more organized, I guess. Mm-hmm. I got this god-awful tickle in my throat.
It's okay.
It's a hairball.
Well, it's funny you mention that because Dragon Gate prides itself on multi-man and tag team wrestling. That's kind of the specialty of the promotion. So the fact that you noticed kind of a small detail, that's quite. I'm quite impressed with you, Mother.
Oh, 1 point for me. Finger up. Yeah, it was good. I like that. I like that match.
I liked what I saw out of Jason Lee, and Benkei is a beast. I think he's definitely being protected being low on the card, but him not having a role at Truthgate seems to be a fall from grace to me. Not sure where they're heading with him, and I'm kind of confused of the direction with a lot of guys right now. The next match was Masaki Mochizuki, the 50-year-old, defeating Kota Minoura in an 8-minute match.
The teacher, the student.
Yes.
Teacher, student. Teacher kicking student to ass. Bad student. Kick fest.
It was very entertaining.
It was. I have it as a 2-star good match, so I enjoyed it.
2-star? Out of what?
Out of 5. Is 2. Double star. No, just double star.
You're harsh.
No, it was a good match.
Because I've seen your notes. If you like the match, well, what is it out of then? Because I see if you like the match, you put a star next to it.
I do, or I'll give it a double star or 4 stars if I really think it's awesome.
Whoa. Well, we'll need to get your star ratings on some matches going forward.
My double star is good match. And that's what it was. I gave it a double star good match.
All right, listeners, you heard it here first. Mom has her own star system. Prepare to be outraged with her rankings. Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed Mochizuki kicking the shit out of Kota Minoura.
I don't know if I've ever given 3 stars to anybody. They either get 4 or 2.
All right, what was a match that got 4 stars out of you?
None of them.
No, like anything in history. What was a 4-star match to you?
Oh, my 4-star match. I'll tell you what my 4-star match is. Let me find it.
Do you just have one? Do you have multiple?
One. I have one. Let me see. One. No, I have 2. I have a 4-star match from February 5th and a 4-star match from January 29th.
Oh, from AEW.
From AEW, yeah. Oh. But if you want to know about my 4-star match here, I did not pick a 4-star. Oh, yes, I did. I do have a 4-star.
All right, we'll save that thought. Okay. We'll go over your 4-star matches at the end of the Dragon Gate show. All 3 of them that you have. I'm very excited. So Masaki Mochizuki, Kota Minoura, 2-star recommendation from Mom. On her scale.
Oh my God.
It's funny that you have a 5-star scale because that's kind of the association with wrestling.
5-star. Nobody ever gets 5 stars.
Well,
because there's
someday.
Always room for improvement.
Someday.
No,
we will.
Yeah.
I await
Maybe someday, but 4 stars as high as I go. I haven't seen anybody who, if I don't mark it, then I guess it's a 1.
Well,
But
no, it'd be a 0, right?
Nobody gets it, huh?
It'd be a 0.
Well, yeah, it would be a 0, but it can't go any lower. It's like when you go to review, you can only in order to give them any review, you have to give them a 1 star. There is no 0.
I saw your notes. I didn't see any stars next to some matches.
Well, that's because then they get nothing. They get it, but
Miss Contradiction over here.
I'm telling you, if you're going to give a review, it doesn't get posted unless you put 1 on it. Give it 1 star.
Well, it could get posted here on this podcast if you don't give something a star. Anyways, Team Dragon Gate in the next match: Dragon Dia versus Dragon Dia and Yuki Yoshioka. Team Dragon Gate defeat Team Toryumon. That's Susumu Yokotsuka and Yasushi Kanda. Another 8-minute match. So we got a theme here on this show. Everything's about 8.5 minutes.
I thought this was another 2-star good match.
Oh, so we're improving. Okay.
I like the throwing around the youngster, Susumu.
Yeah, Susumu was just chucking around the young guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And then good
current
action.
All Japan Junior Heavyweight Champion, by the way.
Oh, okay. I thought there was good action of Yoko Yusha and Dragon Dia was awesome.
The tag team maneuvers, you mean?
Good match. Yes.
Yeah, maybe we'll see more out of these two. The angle after the match I thought was very interesting. So these two have been teaming up for a few shows now. For this Dragon Gate review, we'll go into more or less the Tormon anniversary show that they did, a couple of the quote unquote house shows. But Dragon Dia and Yuki Yoshioka have been teaming together, and each time that the team has won, Dragon Dia has gotten the victory with his dragon roll, or whatever they call it. It's basically the West Coast Pop that Rey Mysterio had in his WCW days. After the match, Yoshioka gets on the mic and he goes, "Look, you're on a roll. Everyone knows on a roll, and as a team we're on a roll, but we got to figure out who is the best out of each of us." And so he challenges his own tag team partner to a singles match, and presumably that will, because of all their victories that they've racked up, and Dia in particular, the winner of this match, will get a Brave Gate title shot. Think of it as their Intercontinental title, if you will.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I quite like that. I quite like this angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'd be like having Paige versus Omega, right?
Yeah, if the winner then got a... Yeah, that's exactly... That's a very... Yeah, that's a good comparison. That works.
Have they ever fought each other?
I think in Japan once. Memory serves.
I think they need to fight together. They'll do it. I think they'll do it.
Maybe it'll happen someday.
Mm-hmm.
6-man tag team elimination match. It is the team... this might take a little... No. Wait. Yes. No?
What?
No, this was not an elimination match. This was just a trios match.
Yeah.
RED, that is Shimizu Ishida, the Brave Gate champion, and Kazuma Sakamoto defeats Team Torimon, that's Don Fuji, Genki Horiguchi, and Ultimo Dragon. So Ultimo Dragon's team, basically. A bunch of old guys
against
RED.
the young guys.
This match went 11 minutes. Ooh.
I thought it was a pretty slow match, actually. I think when I'm watching any old guys wrestling against young guys, it seems to be that it's a slow match. Stardom was the same way when you had older guys against the younger guys.
You mean New Japan?
Or New Japan. You still, it's slow. It's like the young guys don't know their stuff, so the old guys are kind of being easy on the young guys, or the young guys don't want to hurt the old guys. It's just slow. I wasn't a big fan of it.
I mean, that's not always the case.
It picked up with later on with some good, moves, but it started out pretty slow.
Well, it was more based on the post-match angle. I believe it was Don Fuji who got pinned, and then Genki Horiguchi gets on the mic and says, just because you beat him doesn't mean you beat me. He looks at Ishida, the Brave Gate champion, and basically challenges him to a match later. Gotta say, not excited for that match. I'm much more anticipating the winner of the Dragon Dia Yoshioka match for sure. But Ishida needs a challenger. I guess this works in storyline of the RED versus the Ultimo Dragon faction still building. So, it's okay, I guess. Now it's the elimination match. The 3-way elimination match for the Triangle title. It's the Trios title. Teams of 3. Team Torimon. That's Dragon Kid, Kenichiro Arai, and Ryo Saito. Another old person team. They won the match against the RED champions. That's Hyo, Yoshida, and Diamante. Also beating the Team Dragon Gate representatives Okuda, Strong Machine J, and Santa Maria. So let's see here. The first pin was Takashi Yoshida pins Santa Maria after 15 minutes. And then Kenichiro Arai gets the winning pin over Hyo at 17:42. So the match was a pretty decent length.
Yeah, it was an interesting concept with one of each team in the ring. It was never seen that before. Having three teams. Mm-hmm. Having one from each team being in the ring, it was really different. It was kind of cool. It was interesting.
The way you can look at it is when you have a 3-way triple threat, all 3 guys are in the ring. It's not 2 guys in the ring and one's on the outside waiting to be tagged.
Right.
So the same concept works with a tag team environment, right?
Right.
Each representative has a person in the ring, and whomever gets pinned or submits, your team is then eliminated. So it worked. I definitely liked what Santa Maria brought to the ring in this one. Showed a lot of fire. Strong Machine J wasn't as highlighted as he has been in the past. Diamante is just a beast. I love the Takahashi Yoshida Diamante combo that they have. I feel nothing with Hyo.
Santa Maria, I call him a fruit pack.
Well, it's one way to put it, I suppose. A bag of Skittles.
And then you had Yoshida, CyberCon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yoshida, yeah.
Yeah.
CyberCon's much more memorable name.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The former CyberCon, yeah.
Yeah. But you have new champs out of this match.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked. I thought if there was going to be a title change, it would have gone to Strong Machine J, Maria, and Okuda.
Oh, really?
Tandem. Yeah. So I was quite taken aback by the veteran team winning.
Yeah. The better team won.
I suppose you're right. That is always the case, generally. And then another 3-way tag team elimination match now. So we've gone from teams of 3 to teams of 2.
All right.
This is the BB Hulk Eita champion combo defending the title against Masato Yoshino and Suji Kondo. And then Team Dragon Gate representatives Kai and Yamato. Match only went 13:36. I thought it was pretty short for the star power involved. And the Shuji Kondo Yoshino tandem win the tag titles. Wait, the tag titles
No.
were not on the line.
You thought they were, but they're not.
So I think this lines them up for a tag title match down the road then.
There was a lot of outside wrestling in that one.
There was a lot of interference, yes.
It was a match to me. I think the ending was good at the last minute, which actually had the most action. So,
RED's trying to run. RED's trying to run the train, and then it's reversed with all the good guys running the train, and Yoshino gets a quick pin on Eita.
Yeah.
But interesting enough, the first pin was BB Hulk getting Yamato, his former tag partner, the one he betrayed in the past, knocked him out in 11:15. So Yamato loses to BB Hulk yet again, so that feud seems to be going to be a long-term plan into 2020. It doesn't look like it's going to end here at Truthgate with these two.
Mm-hmm.
Really putting down Yamato, right buried into the ground. Just can't beat Mr. Red Rooster, BB Hulk. Yeah. I didn't think the match was particularly exciting. I did like the ending, just like you said. It's just seemed to serve a larger purpose of storytelling going forward into the months ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we had our main event. Champion Dreamgate title on the line, Naruki Doi defending against my man, KZ. Match went 24 minutes, 13 seconds. Thoughts, Mother?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought they played the national anthem of the champion's country, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long match.
24 minutes, yep.
Yeah, it was a long
Easily
match.
the longest on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Which, it should be. It is the main event, so it should be longer than all the rest. Maybe. But there were a lot of good moves for the win. There was a long match with lots of good action, like the muscular bomb for the win.
That finisher is so devastating looking.
It was a pretty even match, I felt.
Unfortunately, what this match was missing was that sense of drama that I thought, for me, that KZ was actually going to win. Mm-hmm. Commentary made it very clear that KZ seems to be Mr. February. This is his time to challenge for the title each year at Truthgate.
Okay.
He's failed the previous 2 years in his attempts. This would make, spoiler, failure number 3. So now Mr. February is Mr. Loser February. So again, play into kind of a larger story here. Twice could be a coincidence. 3 times is definitely a pattern now.
Right.
Naruki Doi getting a very good defense out of KZ in his first one. So add that key on the belt officially. The muscular bomb remains one of the most terrifying finishers to me. It's that half Nelson package flip that he does.
Mm-hmm.
So last year KZ faced Pac in the title match in which KZ lost, and that match was utterly amazing. KZ's doing everything he could possibly do to win that title. 450 splashes, frog splashes, KZ time, finishers, everything was pulled out. In this match, half that was pulled out. It was just a lot of uppercuts, a lot of combos, just never reached that full gear with KZ. Whether that's on purpose or not, I don't know. Could that play into another title match later down the line where KZ busts that out again? I don't know.
Huh.
But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, Naruki Doi looks like a strong champion. The Pac KZ match?
Yeah.
You can Google it and find it online if you want to watch it. It was one of my favorite matches of last year.
Maybe I need to see what KZ can really do.
Yeah, would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious of your thoughts. But Rick Doi, strong champion. I don't recall if anyone came out to be his next challenger after the match. So, if that happened, I'll just kind of fill in at the end, I guess. But, all right. I'm glad you liked the Dragon Gate show. The main event.
I enjoyed it.
The main event did deliver despite kind of underperforming my expectations. From KZ in particular.
Okay.
Now, the big question, Mother.
Yes, dear.
What were your 4-star matches?
Oh, my 4-star matches. So my 4-star match, we'll start from where we're at now for the Dragon Gate, actually was the main event.
Okay.
I did like that. Then for my January 29th Cleveland show, my 4-star match was the Young Bucks versus Butcher Blade and Bunny.
Bucks versus Butcher Blade Bunny. That was from January 29th.
Correct.
EW January 29th. Dynamite.
And then on the February 5th, my 4-star match was Moxley versus Ortiz.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley versus Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
AEW February 5th. Dynamite. Gotta write all these down.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't put Minoru Suzuki, John Moxley as a 4-star match?
It wasn't on my notes.
I mean, well, you didn't take notes on it.
I did not take notes on it. You're right. But
would you have given that 4 stars? Would you have given that 5 stars?
No, nobody ever gets 5 stars. I'm telling you.
4.5.
Nah. I would give it a 4. I would give it 4 stars for entertainment. It was good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I don't think no, because I didn't see a lot of. I saw more slapping than anything. I don't think I saw a lot of moves that I know Moxley can do. I think there was more slapping in that.
Well,
and
you're not wrong.
Yeah, for sure. So no, it is not a 4-star match to me. Absolutely not. Maybe a 2, but
harsh.
Yeah.
Well then. And your wrestler of the podcast.
My wrestler of the podcast is actually Matt Jackson.
All right, so I'll just count that as Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Because they're a tandem.
Yeah.
Goes together. Well, all right. So right now, just to recap, your wrestlers of the year so far, contenders, are Moxley, Jericho, Adam Page, and Young Bucks. There you go.
There you go.
So no one from Dragon Gate blew you away?
Let me look. Let me see. Dragon Dia.
Dragon Dia. Good choice.
Dragon Dia, yeah.
He's really impressing me lately, too.
Yeah. I thought he was pretty awesome.
All right. Well, you are on record saying you like the Dragon Gate show more than New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, which is interesting. I guess it was more simplistic and down to earth for you.
Yeah.
Not overwhelming.
Yeah. I could follow it easier, I guess. Is the other one
easier format, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Made more sense to me.
Okay. I think. Well, thank you for joining me on yet another episode, Mother. Can't wait to have you back in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Glad to
Love
be
ya.
here. Can't wait to come back. Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, we're back. I'm back. JD here, RedLeafRetrocast. Got my break in, rested my voice a little bit, beat Yakuza 0 in between recording for the retro edition, retro section of the Red Leaf Retrocast. Makes sense. We got the All Japan Women, New Japan, 90s rewatch, and then finishing up with WCW. Quickly approaching when All Japan Women reach the 90s, and pretty soon all three of the retro wrestling will be from the 90s. It's pretty crazy. We started in basically the 60s, worked our way up through the NWA, started All Japan Women in the late 70s, and here we are. Or was it 1984? I don't remember. We're working our way up slowly through the years. Who knows? The podcast goes long enough and I keep this up, we could get all the way to the 2010s. Won't be that retro, but I'll be doing like WXW rewatches and that kind of stuff. So, let's get this thing started. Manami Toyota got us into this. It is All Japan Women's Classics from Puroresu Dream, formerly Puroresu Dream, no longer existing. Samurai TV, episode 13 from April 8th, 1986, as my cat jumps off the mic table. There he goes. Listen to that reverb, and oh, he's in a playing mood. Miyagi Prefecture Sports Center. We got the 3WA tag championships on the line here, so of course the Crush Gals are involved. Asuka and Nagayo versus Yumi Ogura and Kazue Nagahori. The difference in look between these two teams was astounding. Crush Gals? Well, they look like stars. The other two, in these checkered singlets with slumped shoulders, they just look like they were going to get murdered. Now, to be fair, Yumi Ogura hit a few of the ugliest looking jump spin kicks you've ever seen in your life. It's exactly how you would imagine them looking. So to be fair, they also wrestled poorly too. One cracked Nagayo on the side of the face really hard on one of those spin kicks. And then Nagahori was just super ugly in everything she did. Just very stiff in her moves, especially in the latter half of this match. She did do a sit-out pile driver, and she even leaned forward on the downfall movement. Caused Asuka to just land face first, neck first too with her. Just looked super painful. Then really funny, yet stiff leg drops in succession. Just, this was a bad, comical wrestling match. But went about exactly how you would expect it to once that little offense was in. Crush Gals just killed him. They crushed him, to be simply put. So, not sure why this made a Classics episode, but it was classically horrible. I wonder if Yumi Ogura and Kazue Nagahori amounts to much. From my memory, I think Yumi Ogura does. Anyways, move on to another venue, 1986, May 29th at the Omiya Skate Center. All Japan Women Junior title on the line. The newly won Hisaka Uno defending against Yasuko Ishiguro. Because I believe Uno won this from Bull Nakano. No, I'm mistaken. Bull Nakano is not with the junior title. She's with the heavyweight AJW title. So Uno won this recently, and now she's facing Yasuko Ishiguro. So Uno isn't Hokuto yet. Still waiting for the day that she transforms. Still sporting the very boyish look with the short hair, the Nagayo look, one might say. A lot like Nagayo currently in many ways. But hot damn was Uno great while Ishiguro wasn't. She even got her nose boasted open like on a snapmare of something of all things. It's very strange. It's almost like it appeared that on the snapmare movement, her neck snapped and then went into the forearm of the opponent. It was very strange. Uno did some just awesome flips, just right over her. She did a backdrop of all things, right? But landed on her feet and a monkey flip to her feet. So very much like a Rob Van Dam type situation here from ECW days. Then there was a rough sequence of events of just boring mat work. Just wasn't good, especially from Ishiguro. Uno is super fast in the ring, and you can see it when she's on offense. But then when Ishiguro is on offense, Uno has to take twice as many steps to get to the ropes, slows down to half speed. It's just not good. So after all this, Ishiguro does this ugly shoulder flip slam, does the shoot style pin to win. Not good, as Uno loses the junior title. So I guess this is maybe a sign of Uno getting pushed up the ladder and going through the transformation. We can only hope that we're approaching that time. Another new venue. So this episode is really going through 1986 quickly here in the summer, spring and summer. July 24th, 1986, Matsudo Sports Park Gymnasium. AJW Championship on the line, aka the Bull Nakano I Will Murder You title. Against Kazu Nagahore. She's back for another killing. Nagahore from April till now, though, has slimmed down quite a lot. It's very noticeable, especially over the course of 30 minutes. Looks better, fuller hair, out of that ugly checkered singlet into this new purple-pink 90s Taco Bell outfit. Well, Nakano, still in the martial arts mode, just murders her. So it didn't matter. Kitty Cat, what are you doing? Don't go in between the mic and the cords. No. He's... My God. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah. Bull Nakano splats. Just strongholds her down to the mat. Just keeps her down. Nakano continues to just murder this woman with pump kicks and nunchakus. And he gets the easy victory. So, Nagahore looks better, but not going up the card anytime soon, as it seems. Ishigori Yatsuko versus Mikan Suzuki. I hope I got those names right. Not much a fan of this match here at all, as it was mostly just a match to give Yatsuko of Gokaku Dome a win. Yes. Most of the match was just mat work of the two exchanging basic young lioness holds, the Boston Crabs, power slams, and the like. Small comeback of drop kicks from Suzuki, but loses in, of course, that shoot style pin, so not much here at all. And then we get our main event, 1986, June 22nd, at Korakuen Hall. Yes, I know they kind of switched the July show and the June show out of order, but boy, when I saw the Japan 1986 Grand Prix final here of Asuka versus Yukari Omori, I was quite happy this was the main event. It would have been very upsetting to see Yatsuko and Suzuki in that main event spot. This was a long match. This was half the show of this classic episode. Lots of mat work. Must say, Omori coming off that big dump match. Had to say it. Months back. She's here now because of that match. And she's now in the tournament final. She's got spike biker hair now, wearing a big leather jacket that says Raiders on it. She's got a cool look now. But she's also gained a noticeable amount of weight. So the opposite of what Nagahore went through. So this has slowed her down significantly. Doesn't even resemble ring work the same person that fought back against Dump Matsumoto. Maybe her weight has nothing to do with it, but the last thing I think of Dump Matsumoto is a tremendous worker that can carry the youngins, right? She just murders them with weapons the whole time. It's awesome. But anyways, I wouldn't call this match particularly exciting, nor even good to an extent, but Lioness Asuka was bumping all over the place. And this is how I would say you're a tremendous worker, is Lioness Asuka making the lesser opponent look like she's exactly where she belongs, high up on the card. looks like a killer, but from what I saw, she just isn't made for it, this Omori. Not yet. But that's what All Japan Women is doing. They need to fill out the top of the card quick with a lot of people retiring lately, especially in the last couple years. And Omori shockingly got the win here to win the Japan Grand Prix final. So, very unexpected for me, especially with Asuka getting the Yokota rub, and I guess Omori gets the Dump Matsumoto rub, and, well, Dump Matsumoto's still wrestling. So there you go. Short, quick, simple, 10 minutes, All Japan Women's rewatch. I do want to see more of Omori's transformation here. I'm vastly anticipating the Uno to Hokuto transformation as we continue on. Well, with that being said, gotta move on. Dun, 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 dun. New Japan through the 90s. Spring 1990, basically. Going through the archive of New Japan World. And unfortunately, no complete show to watch this time, unlike the Tokyo Dome show. So we're going through the spring. We got 4 matches through the archive here. No sense in watching like 10 of them. There's enough to talk about on the podcast already. But we start with March 2nd, Korakuen Hall, 1990. Masa Saito and Hashimoto Shinya versus, you're gonna get a crack out of these names, Crusher Bam Bam Bigelow, and his tag team partner, the very well known Punisher Dice Morgan. Oh, not familiar with that name, are you? Oh, well, maybe you've heard of his other moniker, The Undertaker. Yep. Full red hair, mullet, and all on this one. The match itself was a 10-minute one-sided affair of the Giant Foreigners winning. I was very shocked when all this was unfolding. Very typical tag team match. But the funny and entertaining part of it all was watching Mr. Dice Morgan over here just be the worst, the most green and terrible wrestler ever. Just horrid-looking crossbodies, landing on dudes' necks, missing completely, horrid basics, all the way to the finisher where he walks, he does a step on the top rope, a single step, and then a falling elbow that also looks super awful. It's quite the spectacle, really, because you don't think, oh, Kitty, oh my god. Just why? Why every podcast? Every segment? Why must you do this to me? Just chill. Please, chill. I really like you when you're sleeping during podcast time. So yeah, it's quite the spectacle, because you don't associate The Undertaker looking horrid. I don't think I've seen a worst... Well, there's some bad matches out there. Well, fundamentally, this was probably the worst Undertaker match I've ever seen. And yes, the Foreigners won. We move on to April 27th, 1990. Tokyo Bay NK Hall. Not sure what the NK stands for. Didn't look it up. Tag Team Championship match. Masa Saito and Hashimoto Shinya are back yet again. This is definitely the Hashimoto Shinya cast for the New Japan Retro Watch. They are taking on the team of Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono. I rather enjoyed Hashimoto Shinya just kicking the shit out of Chono. Specifically Chono. Not because I hate Chono. It was just how he was kicking this dude. So, just looked so Kenta-like, is how these kicks looked, to make a more modern comparison. Chono is so good at selling, mind you. Oh my god. Each kick just looks like he's parts of his soul was kicked out of his back. It's just crazy awesome. This was also the time where Muto jumped from like Freelancer and NWA over to New Japan Pro Wrestling full-time. So Muto was set to get a big push. Shinya and Saito are just a good thick boy team ready to hurt somebody. The pace now, well, match went almost 20 minutes, and I would say 18 of it was very basic. Just one team controls, the other team takes over, vice versa until things broke down in the last 2 minutes, leading to the finish of a Muto jumping roll kick, finishing up with his trademark low turn moonsault. Now, I criticize Sonata for using Muto's low turn moonsault, but it looks horrible. Muto's looks really nice. Both legs totally together, great form, the back arched, and how he's able to do this on just no elevation is quite something to see. So Keiji Muto, you have a nice low turn moonsault. Sonata has an ugly low turn moonsault, and it's no wonder that Sonata really doesn't ever win using it. Muto wins here, and him and Chono, new tag team champions. Very sad for my boy Shinya. Moving on to March 24th, 1990. Still at Tokyo Bay NK Hall, but different dates. You guessed it. Saito and Shinya are back yet again, teaming this time in a trios match with Koji Katao. Yes, the big MMA sumo guy, not MMA. The sumo made his debut at the Dome. They're taking on the trios team of, and this is like the best team I've ever seen in my life, Big Van Vader, Crusher Bam Bam Bigelow, and Dr. Death Steve Williams. What a trio. This is just thick boys are back teaming, right, with Koji Katao taking on the big Gaijins. I believe the show was also called Battle of the Big Gaijins or something. Or Big Kaiju. It's like Big Kaiju Battle, but with foreigners. It's almost exactly how you would imagine just the biggest dudes in Japan in a six-man tag. A bunch of clubbing forearms, their splashes, trying to show their strength to one another, just like big flexing, especially Steve Williams. He's just, they're screaming at each other. Saito backdropping Bigelow a couple times was really cool. That mat just looks super hard. Oh, it looks terribly painful. Much like the old NWA and WCW mat. Not much kicking from Hashimoto here, so a little tear in my eye. Vader had the biggest presence, though. Not really a shock, but he's not even the tallest guy, but he's the biggest. And this was mostly building towards Vader and Katao, as they were kept apart for a lot of the match. And then Vader does distract the ref at the finish by clubbing Koji. Hashimoto goes off the apron to a parade of boos from the crowd. The Gaijins go splash wild for the pin. What I mean by that is Vader distracts, Bigelow splash, Williams splash, and then Vader finishes it off. All on Saito. Post-match, this is where things get really interesting. Vader and Koji go at it in the building towards a bout that must be happening. I'm sure of it. There was another point I thought was funny where Vader gets the ref turned around, and then he just punched Saito in the nuts. Just because he could, and he got just a parade of boos. So the Gaijins really, really did their role quite well against, the not-so-charismatic Japanese guys, but they don't have to be charismatic because they just exist and they're over at this point. So that was a really fun match to watch. I recommend that one easily. Then we move on a few days later, May 28th, 1990, Osaka Prefectural Gymnasium. It's Riki Chosu taking on, yes, Hashimoto Shinya, my new favorite wrestler. He's all over this thing. Starts off with their usual hold exchanges, transitions to headbutts of all things, which I thought was crazy, and then Hashimoto kicks. Mwah. Oh, they are so sweet sounding. Just big thuds, just, beautiful. They just knock Chosu to the ground. It's a beatdown from there. At one point, Hashimoto spits in both hands, rubs them together, and then he proceeds to left kick Chosu straight in the face, looking like he just murdered the dude. I love Hashimoto and his nice guy killer sushi chef look. it's going. It's a good look for him. Beautiful stuff. Unfortunately, Chosu wins. So, that's it for the New Japan Retro Watch. Very simplistic matches, to say the least. The stories are very much in what you would expect from New Japan. It's always sort of building towards something, so gotta kind of take these matches in the vacuums that they are. And I love Hashimoto Shinya. I love watching this guy wrestle. And now we're on to the final segment of the show. I wonder if I updated my wrestling rankings as I take a look at it. They look about right. Yeah, I think so. Play that drop and we can go on to the WCW. Oh boy, I'm all out of whack here on my drops. There it is. All right, boys, we've made it till October of 1998, October 5th to be specific. We're at the Carolina Coliseum, Columbia, South Carolina, heading to Halloween Havoc. Hogan versus Warrior stuff is campy garbage, and Goldberg and Page are almost absent, and a second thought throughout this build to the pay-per-view. Oh, and don't forget this is also Horseman country. Meaning an appearance from Ric Flair and the boys, the Horsemen, is a solid possibility as well, as a high chance of Flair embarrassment. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We open with a recap of Bret Hart turning on Sting from last week, revealing his allegiance to Hogan, shocking very few people and pissing off millions, myself included, contradicting all storylines and build to getting a babyface over. And this recap / video package is the theme of the night. There was a shit ton of them. A truckload shit ton. Drove me up a wall, making this possibly the worst WCW show I have seen on this podcast to date. Nitro girls are out to start the show, dancing in pink after said packages. And then we get our second Halloween Havoc promo of the night already. Number 2. Keep count, boys. I know I am. I can already say no Mean Gene and no J.J. Dillon on this show. Very surprising. You'd think they could have thrown in a segment or two with them instead of all these video packages. Tony wants to know about the maniacal laugh, finally admitting curiosity in existence, as it was finally last week at least recognized, but no development on the laugh from this point forward on the show. So, who cares? Brett versus Sting is announced for the United States title tonight as the main event is yeah. So, what? Because pay-per-view? What's that? Fuck. Who cares about those? So I thought at the very least it would be building to the big Halloween Havoc event, because that's a main event type match and feud, so nah, whatever. It's a no-announced build for a Nitro, which leads me to believe a few WCW bullshit things are to happen for that main event. Either A, NWO run-in for the DQ finish, good classic. B, the match just somehow never happens, which is false advertisement bullshit. So, do we start out with a match? No, we're going video package 3. Piper telling Bret Hart to be a man a few months back as the fans chant, "We want Flair." Waste of time. How about a match now? No, we get a video package number 4. Bret Hart saving Sting from a whooping by Hogan back in August, just to piss me off further how convoluted and bullshit the storyline now is. There's a funky WCW MasterCard ad played, so if you want to frivolously waste money like WCW, now you can. And after 10 minutes of nothing but video packages and commercial ads, we finally start the fucking show. Liz Mark Jr. versus Saturn. Saturn wins fast via Death Valley Driver, as nothing had a chance to even get going. If only there was more time, because the match only went 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Oh, and side note, if you're a fan of the Cruiserweights getting the shit kicked out of them, then this is the show for you. But more importantly, well, video package. We're up to number 5 over the main events at the pay-per-view. Goldberg, DDP, Warrior, Hogan. Nitro girls are back to dance again. They're in black this time, so count 2 for them. And we get a wrestling match. Kaz Hayashi, yes, future husband of Akira Hokito, versus Ernest the Cat Miller. Miller does the whole, I give you 5 seconds to leave the ring, calls Hayashi Jackie Chan like a jerk, and Tenay lists off Miller's athletic backgrounds, including some time in the NFL, which I'm pretty sure it was actually the CFL. I digress. Hayashi tries to come back, but a stiff kick to the head drops him. But it's okay, it was to the head. It only mildly hurts him. We get an old school stomach claw from the cat. I, lost my mind. I'm like, what? Fans aren't thrilled to see the stomach claw. I say these fans are shitty. Hayashi throws him down and goes to the top, only to jump into a side kick. A big kick to the chest is enough to give Miller the pin. Post-match, Miller grabs the mic, runs his beautiful mouth, as Sonny Ono comes in wearing a big purple suit, shoulder pads and everything. Sonny offers his services because Kaz Hayashi's now a loser. He wants Ernest the Cat Miller. He's a 3-time karate champ, after all. Can't blame Sonny Ono here. It's not really clear if Miller accepts, but we do know Hayashi is not happy with Sonny Ono. I actually liked all this, but of course, Cruiserweight must get the shit kicked out of in less than 3 minutes. So, a bunch of 8-year-olds won the Nitro Party contest this week. I only mention this because it's a bunch of 8-year-olds celebrating with soda for Monday Night Nitro. This is quite funny. Can't believe this thing is still ongoing all through 1998. I believe it started in late 97 too. Yet another video package, this time specifically to Goldberg and Diamond Dallas Page. So we're up to, 6 video packages in, I believe, less than half an hour. Juventud Guerrera defeats Jerry Flynn in 3 minutes. Flynn goes first, changes pace to Hoovy, hits a big dive to the outside, throws him back in, Hoovy driver to win. Man, it's almost like we have a pattern here of, go out and have a wrestling match, who cares if it does anything or not. Just to note, Disco Inferno's on commentary claiming Hoovy messed with his weight from the Cruiserweight match that they had, the good one, I might add. Should stay out of his business. So this is a feud building, I suppose. Will it be at Havoc? I don't fucking know. No one knows on this show. So what do you think happened after our third 3 sub-minute wrestling match? If you guessed another Diamond Dallas Page Goldberg video package, you were right. Yes, a fucking third one, the 7th one of the show, third one of this one match, and yes, they sandwiched the 3-minute wrestling match. And if you thought they were also 3 minutes, you'd be correct. We just fucking saw one 5 minutes ago. I'm going absolutely insane watching this Nitro. Tenay outside asked some fans who will win the big title match between Goldberg and DDP to a split crowd, so at least that's something. Bobby Heenan joins the commentary team as Tenay takes a phone call. Ooh, mystery. The announcers talk about how great Hogan vs. Warrior will be, referencing their WWF Mania match, and how their Havoc match will eclipse it. LOLZ! Exclamation point, if I do say so myself. Then, we get a long Hogan versus Warrior video fucking 8th package. They have to be trolling the viewers. They can't possibly think this is good TV. Wrath comes out, my man. Oh, when I saw him, he was like the biggest superstar in the world. I felt like I was watching Kazuchika Okada come out. I'm like, Wrath, please, just murder anybody. I just want to see the meltdown. Make him land on his head. I don't even care at this point. Just murder. If I could get Scott Steiner or Scott Norton after this to just murder another guy after this, I don't care what wrestling I watch. I just want to watch something. Just keep me away from these video packages. 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Meltdown kills Viano 5. So at least I got to see that. But no. My cleansing of my thoughts didn't last long, because we are immediately met with our third Hogan vs. Warrior video package of the night, as the night of video packages continue to be the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my life, giving us 9 in total so far. Today asked more fans outside about the world title match, and again, it's split, so that's number 2 for this. It's like they forgot that they've done these things already on the night. And then finally something interesting happens. I could not believe my eyes. We cut to outside. A Hummer limo arrives in the back with the Wolfpack in it. They appear to be hunting for someone. As Sting is on a mission, so we're assuming he's looking for Bret Hart. He's mad. Only took him an hour to get here, by the way. Hour into the show. Conan is holding a broom. They all head into the wrestler's dressing room. They run behind a wall, and a brawl can be heard because the cameras are late, like a TMZ video. Then the camera shows that it's the black and white, and then security pulls them apart after a few minutes. They break away from security, they brawl some more, and then Sting kind of breaks away from the group. One camera follows them into a separate room altogether where Bret Hart's there, and they just get into a nice little brawl. Cops finally come in, break the two of them up. So hey, at least that was something. I can't say that it wasn't entertaining and there wasn't a purpose to it. At least in storyline, this makes sense. The NWO and Wolfpack are at arms. The Bret Hart Sting is crossing the line. Now they can't hold themselves back. They just have to take guys out. We return from a commercial break. No, it's not a video package. I know, I couldn't believe my eyes either. Wolfpack walking outside. Sting gets in a forklift, and he flips over this black and white limousine, in which commentary just goes, I think that's the NWO limousine. Pretty sure that is. It's black and white, like all limousines are. So Sting's about to flip this thing over, and then Kevin Nash gets a bat, and he's just hammering out windows before it flips it over, like, I forgot to bash this limo apart before Sting got to it. I better do it now. And then Sting flips it, Nash and Luger bash it with hammers some more. Sting slashes the tires for good measures. He's even calling for a knife. He's like looking around. Hey, your bro's got a knife? Security, you got one? Yeah, just give me one. Yeah, slash. Kind of awkward, but it was kind of cool at the same time. So, wonder how much money they wasted doing that. It seems, could have had a wrestling match, but it's just silly on a wrestling show. And that was the first hour of Nitro done. How long did that take me to go through? 21 minutes took me to go through the first hour of Nitro with all these video packages and not wrestling. So that gives us, in total, 16 non-wrestling segments, less than 11 minutes of wrestling across 4 matches, and 9 video packages. This is the worst first hour of wrestling I've ever seen, covering on the podcast. Easily. I've never hated anything more in my life. So on to hour 2. Surely this will turn around after that Wolfpack segment. Well, you would be mistaken. Nope. It's Damien versus Hector Garza. Damien, yes, someone we haven't seen on Nitro in God knows how long, if ever. This goes to a no contest after 1 minute and 12 seconds. Why? Because Eddie Guerrero flaunts out, stops the match with a microphone. He just called for the bell, he didn't do anything. Eddie wants to talk about what Eric Bischoff has done for either of them, looking at Damien and Hector Garza. Well, the two can't answer. And that's Eddie's point, bros. They're just wrestling each other week in and week out without ever getting anywhere. Why can't they ever climb the ladder of success, he says. They can't even afford their own rental car or hotel room because the NWO is taking all the money. Eddie says La Raza has to unite as the LWO. Yes, this is the infamous night that the Latino World Order begins. And he has shirts for everybody. Here you go. You guys are in. Both guys shrug their shoulders and they go, cool, I'll put the shirt on. And they leave with Guerrero. So in theory, this group could be good. But this execution and build for it gives the audience, and myself, absolutely no reason to care. Even if what Eddie said is technically true, he comes across as nothing but a whiny baby. that most of the things he's saying nobody really knows anything about, because it's all insider bullshit. There was no build to this group coming together. It's just, here's a shirt, you're Mexican, I'm Mexican, let's be Mexican in a group. Cool, LWO. Mike Tenay is in the back with the Wolfpack, bar hopping now. I guess that's what his phone call was. Kevin Nash going, hey, get the camera, Mike Tenay, you're going to follow us bar hopping. Tenay's like, cool, let's get our drink on. But they're actually looking in a bar for Scott Hall. Scott Hall is not in bar number 1, but we're going to go bar to bar until he finds him. Cameras are going to stick with him, like something out of TMZ here, so we got a TMZ-related show. So here I am to believe that the Wolfpack are hitting up every single bar in Columbia, South Carolina, just to find drunk Scott Hall and beat him up. I'm sorry? Another video package on Sting and Hart, so that makes 10 for the night. David Flair is shown in the front row, acknowledged by announcers, and David Flair has the most blank and dumbest look on his face with rosy red cheeks, like he's been working out for 2 hours. Nitro Girls dance in white now, so that's the third time they've made the show appearance. And then we get a wrestling match. WCW Cruiserweight title match, Kidman versus Psychosis. It was fun. Holy shit, this doubled the wrestling time on the show right here. Psychosis starts the match trying to work Kidman's arm, but is immediately out the window, just thrown completely out after a few moves, as he reverses with a hip toss. I laughed at how bad that was. They exchange, throwing each other in and out of the ring, hitting planches. There's 3 chin lock sequences from Psychosis in this match, which was really weird. So I assume what was happening here was Psychosis would get a chin lock in, and they'd discuss their next sequence of events, right? He'd do it again, repeat. And on this third one, it was, all right, we're heading home, brother. Let's get this finish. So Psychosis reverses into a moonsault press, goes to the top rope, only for Kidman to immediately pop up, shoves him off, hits the shooting star press. Knees first into his face, by the way. Just looked horribly painful. Seems to be okay. Not a bad match, but entertaining and sloppy. So, Warrior's in the back for a promo. Talks about WrestleMania 6 main event. Rambles about power. The point is, he will beat Hogan. He beat Hogan before, and he'll do it again. I won't count this as a video package, as it was Warrior in a room, rambling on. Scott Steiner takes credit for the Steiner Brothers' success in, yes, a video package promo crossover. This totally counts, by the way. That's number 11. Tenay is chasing the Wolfpack limo as they continue to hunt drunk Scott Hall. There's your TMZ update. And then here are Buff Bagwell and Scott Steiner to the ring when it's supposed to be Rick Steiner versus Brian Adams. Okay. So Scott promises to prove how great he is at Halloween Havoc. Buff starts to bark. So they're doing their usual Rick Steiner moniker that they've been doing since fucking March. This brings out Rick, who reminds Bagwell that this is the building where he hurt his neck. Buff might want to make a joke about it, but Rick has someone who takes this very seriously. It is Judy Bagwell. She's back, ladies and gentlemen. She gets on the apron. She gets a microphone. She rips Buff apart in the most mom voice ever. Talking about sitting with him in the hospital, reading the fans' letters. Buff says he made a decision and that she and his dad couldn't eat without his support. Well, I mean, if that's true, then good on Buff. He got back in the ring and he's doing what he can to put food on the table. But Judy Bagwell won't hear it. She slaps him in the face. And Buff goes to his knees. He sells it. He's like, my mother slapped me. Oh my God. And then, I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Judy Bagwell gets in the face of Scott Steiner without even a lick of fear in her eyes. And Scott Steiner starts chest bumping her. He looks like he's about to snap a mom's neck. I was scared for Judy Bagwell. That says something a lot about Scott Steiner right there. And luckily, before a murder takes place, Rick takes out Scott Steiner, and then Judy Bagwell drags Buff out by the ear. So campy. It was so hilariously stupid that it ended up being awesome. Judy Bagwell getting in Scott Steiner's face while Steiner looked like he was going to eat her gave me many emotions. Back from a break, we get a clip of Scott and Brian Adams double teaming Rick Steiner, so babyface in peril situation. Rick Steiner beats Adams in a very slow bad match in 6 minutes, which was obviously too long. 6 minutes should have been given to the cruiserweights, not this one. On to hour 3, holy shit, this show is long. Diamond Dallas Page in a match, defeats Canyon with Raven via disqualification, because there has to be one on every show. 7 minutes, 19 seconds. Not a bad match, mind you, but built on their past and stories of DDP and the Flock. I really expected more. It was really nothing and led to nothing. Lodi comes out with signs at one point, just begging Raven to reform the Flock, well, with at least him in it, but he gets a dive from Page instead when he came out. Why Raven won't just let Lodi back in is kind of beyond my understanding. It lacks fluidity to a story, but there's a distraction near fall from Raven. DDP counters, signals for the Diamond Cutter, and then Raven runs in for the DQ, because God forbid the contender for the world title pins Chris fucking Canyon. What was even the point of this? It got no one over. Page gets double team post-match, but Goldberg, of all people, makes the save. They go back to back and then look at each other, have a stare down, so at least that particular part was kind of cool. There's no reason you couldn't have DDP Diamond Cut Canyon, and then Raven starts beating him up, and you have Lodi kind of join in and Goldberg make the save there. There's no reason to not have that. Kitty, what are you planning here? No. Get. Come on. Ted, come on. Get out of here. Jesus. Always bugging me with the mic. Where was I? Hall isn't at the second bar either, by the way, so we continue to waste time. Disciple defeats Lenny Lane in 2 minutes, cuts a bad promo about not carrying Hogan's bags anymore, so another waste of time. No idea what the purpose of what these Disciple squash matches are for. I don't get it. And then we get the most ridiculous serious events in Nitro history. And I wrote all this down. And it's going to take a long time to go through. So I'm just going to read them. So my cat gets on the mic table yet again. Testing my patience, Sid. You really are. Hope you know that. Don't purr at me. Don't headbutt me. Alright. Hogan and Bischoff come out, but Disciple storms right past him after his match. The two of them head into the back. Strike one. Why they wouldn't just beat his ass right then and there, I don't know. So they follow him through the back. Disciple runs around the corner. And then Hogan and Bischoff think he went into the locker room, even though we, the audience, saw otherwise. Strike two. Hogan stands in front of a mirror. And he goes, "Everything is falling apart, brother." He looks up and sees Warrior standing behind him. But there's no one behind him. Yes. It's this scene. Hogan sees Warrior in the mirror again. We, the audience, can see him too. Begs him to come to a truce. Bischoff can't see the Warrior and asks Hogan what he's talking about. Hogan ignores Bischoff and just keeps mumbling, talking to the Warrior, till Bischoff tells the cameraman to get out of here. Strike three, you're out. Too many stupid things coming together here. So yeah, apparently Bischoff is the crazy one, as only he couldn't see Warrior. But in kayfabe, we are to believe Hogan is crazy, and we can know he's crazy because he can see the Warrior and we can see him see it. But then we're supposed to believe Bischoff isn't crazy because we know it's a figment of Hogan's imagination. Lot to take in with that one. The segments were really stupid to start with smoke and everything, but at least you could kind of stretch and say Warrior was attacking them under the cover of smoke and nerve gas. But they had toned that down in the last few weeks and just used regular Warrior, I guess, building promos and whatnot. But this takes it to that final level of stupid, bordering on insulting rather than just kind of going with the motions of it all. So, Tenay follows the Wolfpack to a third bar, and Hall is miraculously inside, so it only took him 3 tries over all the bars in Colombia. Nash goes right after him. People are going crazy inside the bar. Nash sends Hall into the men's room. Wolfpack follow him a few moments later, invite the camera in. Hall is out cold, just like you would expect him to be, in the toilet. Hardy-har. Bischoff, after all worried about Hulk Hogan, heads to the ring with something to say. He simply just goes, Hogan's fine. But I have a story to tell you about a man named Flair. Bischoff makes fun of country fans that go to Waffle Houses. Draws a huge "We Want Flair" chant. But Flair isn't here officially in charge of Flair isn't here tonight. Bischoff made sure of that because Rick is a coward, which makes no sense. This brings out Arn Anderson, who says, yes, that is my cat on the table again. Arn says this is a horseman job. He's officially in charge of Head Games. So let's bring out the champ right now. And this brings out Reed Flair in a wrestling singlet with a medal around his neck to signify he won something in wrestling one time. Eric is annoyed, or it signifies he bought a medal at a trophy shop or Goodwill. But anyways, Eric is annoyed and says the Flairs are everywhere. Reed said, "Me! Woo, Gene." Again, no sense. He's here to handle his father's light work and steps up to Bischoff before easily taking him down twice because Arn Anderson just goes, show him what you got. He does the shoot style drop in the knee maneuver that wrestlers do. Bischoff turns his back and then he just shoots on him twice. So it's like, ooh. Bischoff goes after him, but Arn gives him a mean look. Ooh, he scares him. Reed holds up 4 fingers because Arn told him to. Bischoff doesn't know what to do. He's like, "Wah! What is going on?" Crowd liked it, but it was really dumb. I didn't like it very much. Plus, the camera kept looking at David Flair with 0 expression on his face. Just no reaction whatsoever to any of this. Just really gives you a foreshadowing when David Flair gets in the ring and how just awful he's going to be. Back from a break with Bischoff alone in the ring. He's ranting about wanting Ric Flair out here right now. Then Liz comes to the ring with a phone. Yes, the big 90s phone. And is told to call Ric Flair right now. Okay. Someone answers it, but get this. You don't hear any of the phone conversation. You just barely hear Eric Bischoff talking into the phone at Rick's wife, Beth, who just yells at him. So the audience couldn't hear it, and the television audience could barely hear even Eric. So I can't imagine what it would be like watching this in the arena. Ric Flair's music comes on, he hits the ring, takes off the jacket, and then the NWO surround the ring. Luckily, Benoit, Malenko, Mongo, Anderson, and Reed Flair all hit the ring to protect Rick. The NWO bails. David Flair gets in the ring as well to be there. Awesome segment as the Flair versus Bischoff showdown is another week closer. Yeah. Just awesome. Finally to our main event, US title match, Sting versus Bret Hart. Pay-per-view? Ha! What's that? The challenger Sting is alone here as the Wolfpack is still, they're off from chasing Scott Hall. Bret Hart's music comes on. He walks down the aisle, but then turns around and heads back through the entrance. What? Sting gives chase, and the fight continues in the back. No match, of course, so if you remember, I had predicted NWO DQ run-in, or the match just doesn't happen. Sure shit, they went with B. It's a brawl in the back. Sting sends him into a steel door, hits him with a dry erase board. Brett gets his jacket off. They head to the cafeteria area. Thankfully, there isn't any food left, so we didn't get any stupid shit like that. Hart takes him out with some right hand, suplexes him through a table, puts Sting down a little bit, goes after leg, ankle, tries to Pillmanize him with a chair, pounds away with fists till Sting throws him down. Sting limps after him, crotches Bret Hart from the side of a door. Bret gets away. Now he's limping. Tries to commandeer a one of those arena carts, but there's no key in it, so it's like, shit. Sting chokes him with a pole, puts on the Scorpion. Bret all of a sudden says cheater, and then security shows up conveniently to break it up. And that ends the show. They had to drown out the crowd noise for all the heavy, heavy boos of what was going on. What a shit way to end a shit show that was this WCW Nitro. Worst show of 1998 right here. And it's no wonder why they started to lose the ratings when they did. What this built for Halloween Havoc? Fuck all. No world champion on the show. The challenger was in a nothing DQ match. Fuck it, right? Wrestler rankings. Let's just get this out of the way. Number 1, Jon Moxley. Number 2, Shingo Takagi. Number 3, Ryu Lee. Number 4, Minoru Suzuki. 5, Naruki Doi. 6, Hiromu. 7, Zack Sabre Jr. 8, Ospreay. 9, Jay White. 10, Ishii. 11, Gatoh. 12, Darby Allin. 13, Sonata. 14, Okada. 15, Evil. Then the women's side, shouldn't be any surprise. 1, Iroha. 2, Mayu. 3, Bea Priestley. 4, Britt Baker. Yes, I'm putting her high. Those promos have been amazing. 5, Arisa. 6, Jungle Kiona. 7, Kagetsu. 8, Jamie Hayter. 9, Utami. And 10, Mei Suruga. So there you go. Got not much else to say about the wrestler rankings. This was episode 51, New Beginnings Truth of the Red Leaf Retrocast. See you next time.